Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After the Dark show for March 17, 2024. Happy St. Patrick's Day to all who celebrate. This is a show where we're going to talk about the Justin Fields trade that just went down, some other trades like Kenny Pickett from Friday, the Minnesota Houston trade, some signings like Tyron Smith going to the Jets. Then we're going to discuss some futures that you should bet on. In fact, I just bet on one thanks to Tom's recommendation. And then, of course, our Game of Thrones rewatch recap. It's season 1, episodes 4 and 5. So looking forward to getting to that. Joined again by Quacky T. Tom, how are you?
I'm good. Here we are again, Walter. More of the bit. It's funny now how there's. I feel I have to do as much preparation now with in the off season than I do for picking the games, but that keeps. But I've got a lot for you all today. I got some futures for you. We'll be trying to sling the jokes as always, and now Game of Thrones has really gotten interesting. So looking forward to getting into it with you on that front too.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I want to see what your thoughts are on that, and then of course the football stuff and the futures. It's the one of them is a very juicy one that I just bet right away. So yeah, looking forward to discussing that and everything else. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. All that would help us out a lot, and super chats would really help as well. Tom, we had 4 super chats on Tuesday, so let's see if we can beat that total, because we get nothing from YouTube ads at all. Like it's $1.90 at most. And like sometimes it's like 20 cents. So it's pretty pathetic. So yeah,
we definitely appreciate it. You know, I didn't get all dolled up for nothing. So I'm just
like you can literally go downtown and like look for change and make more than we do for YouTube ads. So yeah, please help us out. That keeps the show going, and we really do appreciate it. We took like every time after the show, we're like, oh man, that was awesome. We got like 2 super chats, you know. So it's really cool. But anyway, if you guys have any comments, questions, leave them here. We'll get to them. It doesn't even have to be about football or Game of Thrones. It could just be about anything. You guys know I'll answer anything. Just make it so Tom doesn't get canceled. I can't get canceled, but Tom can.
We can test the waters a little bit, I guess.
Okay, fair enough. I always said that
I'll answer most things, you know.
I always say that when I'm on solo on the show, you can like literally ask me anything. But on Wednesday when Kenny was on, I think Kenny is the most cancelable of all of us because he works at a university. So I'm like we were getting a little too spicy. I'm like, we should simmer down a little bit here. But yeah, it really depends on who the guest is. But yeah, I mean, I will answer anything because I don't care. All right, so all right, we had some major football news. Looked like a slow day today. Like nothing was going on. Like Jerome Baker signed with the Seahawks. We'll get to that in a second. And then suddenly, of course, this happened when I was cleaning up my kids after dinner, and then I had to take them for a bath, and then had to put my son to bed. My wife puts my daughter to bed. So I couldn't get to this grade until 2 hours after the trade was done. But it was a blockbuster trade, and it's one that we've been waiting on since the Bears ended up with the number 1 pick in the draft. The Steelers got Justin Fields from the Bears for a conditional 3rd-day pick, which is in 2025, which is the base is a 6th round pick, and it could get as high as a 4th round pick based on playing time. So I love this trade for the Steelers, even though they signed Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson sucks. Like we saw him last year, he was just terrible, except when he was down by double digits, and then he would just play really well, and then he'd lead a comeback and look great, and then he'd throw an interception or fumble the ball like at the worst time. Like that's what happened in like every other game for him. So he was not the answer, and I was pretty disappointed that the Steelers signed him. But I love this move. It's great. Like they gave up nothing for him. Obviously, the real cost is in the contract, and so they're going to have to give him a new deal. But for a Steelers team that's never in position to get a franchise quarterback because A, they have Mike Tomlin, who's a great coach, never had a losing record, and B, their defense is awesome. They're never going to be in position to get one of these franchise quarterbacks like Caleb Williams or Drake May. So this is like their best chance to get a youngish quarterback with tons of upside. So Justin Fields has the potential to lead the Steelers to a deep playoff run. It sounds like Russell Wilson's going to start right away, but I don't think it's going to last very long. I think Fields is going to take over eventually. And if you're the Bears, like I don't get what they're doing. Like I pointed this example out. Like when the Eagles drafted Carson Wentz, they still had Sam Bradford, and obviously they were going to start Carson Wentz, and that was the plan. But they didn't trade Sam Bradford; they just kept him, and they waited and waited, and then finally the Vikings had this catastrophic injury. Teddy Bridgewater went down with a horrible knee injury, and then the Vikings panicked and they gave up a first-round pick for Sam Bradford, and they got fleeced. But the Eagles, to their credit, took advantage of a situation. They were patient. And it seems like the Bears did the opposite of that. They gave up Fields for not even like pennies on the dollar. This is like micro pennies on the dollar. Like they give up, like they got nothing in return. In fact, like the Patriots got more for Mac Jones than the Bears got for Justin Fields, which is completely embarrassing. So I gave this a million for the Bears and A+ for the Steelers. What are your thoughts on this trade, Tom?
I couldn't agree more. And, I'm a big fan of the Bears winning the Super Bowl future for next season, as I've expressed here on the show on a couple of occasions, I think. So I actually was of the belief that I think the Bears would have had a better chance at doing a deeper playoff run potentially if they kept Fields. Now, I don't know that was necessarily a popular opinion, but I don't know. I just think, like, he hasn't gotten there as quickly as he's definitely improving, but I would say he's certainly, I think most would agree that he's fallen below expectations, but I still think his ceiling is really high, and like maybe he's just going to get comfortable. Now the defense is, as we saw, was really improved with the once they acquired Sweat. And I mean, I just think it would have been easier for them to make a deeper playoff run with a quarterback. Not to say that, I'm sure they're going to take Caleb Williams now, but it's like, is he? And maybe he is. Maybe he ends up being like CJ, having a season like CJ Stroud did. Who knows? But I just think that their chances would be better with someone who wasn't brand new to the system. But we'll see. I still think the future is bright for the Bears, but for the right now, I actually like them a little less now that Fields is gone. I'm still going to take them to win the Super Bowl next year. But yeah, I couldn't agree with your rating more there. I can't believe that's all they got for him, but. I guess we'll see. This is a dumb question because I don't really watch much college football. Why are we like so? This is going to sound really stupid, not the way I mean it. Like, wasn't like the USC team that Caleb Williams was on? Like they were just mediocre, right? Like, why is it that like usually it's like the quarterback leading like the undefeated team sort of thing? And I know, like, I'll admit it myself. I hardly watch any college football, so. Like, what is it about Caleb Williams that makes everyone so sure that like he's like the runaway like favorite?
Well, the year before he had a better year. He's actually coming off somewhat of a down year. They lost talent. It just like the supporting cast wasn't as good. But like you could see in his traits and everything like that, like he's super talented. He can do everything.
Right.
He just like has the upside of being a number one pick and a pretty high floor, I think. So yeah, I think he just has the ability, and like he just had a bad team around him, so that's why they just weren't there. And like I don't know. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and I'm not dumb. I hardly watch college football at all, obviously, but like I'm not that dumb. Like I'm not like I know you can have like not be on a great team and still like be a great player,
Right.
So. Sorry, my dog's over here making noises. But like I don't know. I was just kind of surprised that like I thought that I think USC had a pretty disappointing year. So but yeah, I still like the Bears, but yeah, this was I forgot about the Millen. This was indeed a Millen.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah, love to eat something at 79. Horrible trade for the Bears. Keep Fields, draft Williams, Branch, QB. Horrible reaction. Yeah, this is
something.
Yeah, look, I'll say anything, but I don't want to get demonetized. Like our dollar 90s could be in jeopardy here. So
79, no less. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Cassandra says the trade was announced 5 minutes after you posted. Here's a recap of all the trades so far. Yeah, it was unfortunate timing. It was like the worst timing possible for me for grades, for posting the grades. So if any moves are made from like 6 to 8, like 6 to 8:30, I just can't get to them because it's a crazy kids schedule. So they have to eat dinner, they have to take their baths, they have to eat a snack before bed, and then, or at least my son does, and then I have to put them down for bed. So it's a whole process here that can't be interrupted. And Patrick says, my serious fan friend said this trade happened while we were out celebrating St. Patty's Day, and I thought he had too many St. Patrick's Day drinks. Apparently the Bears GM had too many. Yes, he had way too many. I don't know. I mean, like outside of the Keenan Allen trade, the Bears have made some dubious moves this offseason too. So maybe he's just been like drinking the entire time. And as the great Colonel Ty once said, do you know how to prevent a hangover? Keep drinking. So maybe that's what he's been doing this entire time.
I never heard. Are you going out for St. Patrick? You know what? Even because I don't drink anymore, but even in my drinking heyday, I never really went out for St. Patrick's Day that much.
Oh, I used to do it all the time. I loved it.
Oh, do people still pinch you if you don't wear green? I mean, I guess if you're going to go to a bar like party scene, you're like you're probably going to wear green, you know. But
I never heard of the pinching thing. I just always wore green. But I never heard of that. But
really? That's what I don't know where I learned. I don't know where I learned, but it's like if you don't wear green, like people will like pinch you. It's probably not a good idea to do to anybody in today's social climate, but I don't recommend it. But wait, you've never heard of that before? I thought that was like ubiquitous.
No, I never heard of it. It's weird. Actually,
this isn't something I just made up, right?
Well, I don't know. Well, St. Patrick's Day is it was the genesis of St. Stalin's Day, which we started I started in 2011, I think, or 2012. I think it was 2012. And it was my holiday where I was like, it's so weird that like everyone would go out for St. Patrick's Day, but like you guys, if you go to a bar and there are 100 people there, like 99 won't know who St. Patrick's was, like, or what he did, right? I was like, and then my point was to my friends was like, you can make a drinking day about anyone or anything, and they'll do it. And so I was like, let's take like the most vile person that like, if you made like a St. Hitler's Day, you can't like the people know who he is, right? But like my point is like you have to make a holiday about someone that like most people won't know. And like some people may have heard of Stalin, but like they won't really know what he did exactly. Or at least like the uneducated won't know. So I was like, we should make a St. Stalin's Day, make it all red, and like go out drinking and like wear shirts and see what people say. And like people just assumed we're on a like a bar tour or something like that, and we went to one bar and like some girl, she was like missing teeth or something. She saw the shirt. She's like, what is the Stalin Day you guys are you're celebrating? So yeah, I was like, my point was proven.
Well, what gets me is that the people, it's like, like a lot of bars will play like traditional Irish music, and like people pretend that they like Irish music for a day. It's like, come on. Like, you never listen to this any other day, probably.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to make a blanket statement there, but you know what I mean? Like, they used to do that in like college. Like, they would have like Irish music playing in all the bars and whatnot, which is fun. I mean, it's part of the tradition. I don't know. I never really, despite all that, I mean, I did a lot of drinking in my heyday, but I never really, I think I only went out to the bar like once ever on St. Patrick's Day, because I don't know. I never wanted to go to the bars like on the busy nights, like New Year's Eve. Or did you ever go to a bar on New Year's Eve?
Rarely. I once went to I once went to Parks Casino on New Year's Eve, which was a huge mistake. I went with a bunch of friends, and like we went into a line to get a drink, and no joke, like we were standing a half hour later, we're still in line. We're like, this is ridiculous, and so we just left, and then we went to this local bar near my house, and and it was okay. It was just fine. It was, I don't know. Like, I've never liked going out New Year's Eve. Like, usually we had parties at my house on New Year's Eve. So
right. I never like, like same thing. It's like we're gonna wait in line for like 45 minutes to get one drink. By the time you might as well just get like 4 at a time, like sort of thing. And like everyone's like, like you're like sweat. Everyone's sweating. You have to like slide by people. I never wanted to. That was never really my scene. Actually, I think once I did in Westchester. I think 2011 and 2011 and 2012 I did once. But other than that, I don't know. I don't like big crowds like that anymore. Even then,
we're getting too old, Tom, for big crowds. It's like it was fine back in the day, but like now at our advanced stage, we can't handle it.
You got that right.
What do we got here? Love to Eat says, I have never been triggered more than this trade. By the way, Irv Smith Jr., $1.3 million to the Chiefs. It's funny. You should ask me about that. You're the second person in the past 2 hours to ask me about the signing. I didn't grade it just because, like, well, first of all, I didn't see the contract details, and like second, I just wasn't motivated to see it because I don't think there's a good chance that Irv Smith makes the final roster. He was barely used last year. He just sucks at this point of his career. I think people have figured that out. I think the only way he makes the final roster is if he just exceeds expectations, which I just don't see happening, or B, if there's an injury to another tight end and he just like by default, like he makes the team. But I think he's like gonna be a third, maybe it's probably like fourth tight end on the team, and I just don't know if he's gonna make the roster. So like I would grade this as like B minus, probably B minus, because like there's maybe a smidge of upside, but like I don't know. I don't say it. It's probably like a waste of money, but it's barely any money for an NFL team anyway. So not a big fan of this, but I don't hate it either. Mike says Keenan Allen is no bargain either. He's an injury waiting to happen. While that's true, it was only for a fourth rounder. I mean, what are the Bears going to do with a fourth round pick anyway? Like, I think the upside's there. Like, Keenan Allen helped develop Justin Herbert. And yet, you're right. I mean, he's going to get hurt a lot. But when he's there, he's really going to help Caleb Williams. So I think it was definitely worth it. I love the trade for the Bears. I discussed it on Thursday. Do you have any thoughts on that Keenan Allen trade?
No, I mean I'm just echo what your sentiment. I admittedly haven't been playing as much. I'm just the talent. I don't have the knowledge, usually. But no, I do. I mean, I do share your sentiment, what you said, but I don't have much else to add there, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah, love to. He says drove the snakes out of Ireland. He was talking about St. Patrick's.
Of snakes live up there? It seems like a cold. Right. I mean, can snakes live in any climate? That's pretty cold up there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Mike says, did Ireland ever have any serious snakes? Like, couldn't you just get a mongoose, like, and just celebrate, Mongoose Day? I don't know. I mean, like,
how many snakes? I feel like there are probably less snakes indigenous to Ireland than there are, say, in the United States. Just based on climate alone, there's got to be less snakes in Ireland.
Yeah, right.
I read something once. There was like 3,000 species of dragonflies. 3,000 species of dragonflies. I didn't even know there were 3,000 animals in the world. That's
pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was 3,000, but it was something like it was in thousands, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, Mike says if St. Patrick had any real skills, he would be driving the Burmese pythons out of Florida, like the swamp people, or maybe the. I was in the Outer Banks with my wife. This was like, let's say like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. And we were on the beach one day and it was fine otherwise, but there's one day. And like, we saw like a bunch of like bugs flying around as we're going to the beach. I was like, in my head, I was like, this is kind of weird. And like, we sat down, I feel like these pinching like sensations in my legs. Like, what is going on here? Like, this hurts. I see these like black things like crawling on my legs. Like, there's like these swarm of black flies just attacking us. It was like the most awful experience I've ever had going to the beach. I usually love going to the beach. Like, it just couldn't get away from them. I just had to like run back to our the place where we were staying. Like, it was awful. Just awful.
What, they're like horse flies?
No, they're just called black flies, and like they just bite you. They just bite you. It's like the most annoying thing. Like, you couldn't do anything about it. Like, I'd go in the water to get them off, and like I'd come out of the water, they start biting me again. Like, it's just awful. Just
my god! I mean, I've seen like what I would call like, because I used to go to the shores in Delaware, Bethany Beach and Rehoboth Beach growing up, because I had family out that way. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I've seen like those big, like I used to call them horse flies. But I never got, like, you didn't want to get bit by one, but I don't think I ever got bit by one. But I mean,
no, they were small. They were small. They looked like chocolate chips, like that's like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They weren't like, you couldn't see them from pretty far away. Yeah.
Yeah. I've gotten in because I used to go out now I'm afraid of the ocean, but I got stung by a jellyfish and I got pinched by a crab pretty good. The crab was my fault though. I was out crabbing and I caught this big crab. I didn't want it to get away. So it was on the deck and I put my finger on it. It like latched onto my arm. So yeah. I've had my sea creature encounters, my share of them,
Yeah. that's pretty disturbing. I've never gotten bitten by a crab or anything like that. I usually love the ocean. I'm just staying there. I go like, when I go to the beach, I just like lay out in the sun for like an hour. And my wife's like, aren't you going to go in? I'm like, just wait. And then like, I'll go in and then like, I won't leave. I'll just like be in the ocean for like 2 hours.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I just don't leave. Yeah. So
yeah. When I was a kid, I used to go all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I would swim out. Now I'm afraid of the ocean now. Cause I don't know. It's like, what if something's in there? I know it's a really low chance, but I don't get enough enjoyment out of being in there to like outweigh the very unlikely like event, like the very unlikely chance that I'd be eaten by a shark. So like I don't know, it's just not enough to like warrant me being in there, I guess, anymore.
I mean, if you're shallow enough water, like I don't think you need to worry. Like I just float. Just float in the water.
I had a buddy that got bit by a shark in shin deep water. It took a little chunk out of his ankle. Yeah, he was just standing there and he's like, he felt like this pressure on his ankle, he said. And he looked over and there was like this baby like shark swimming away.
That's
and
crazy.
Like it took like a little chunk, like right in like the Achilles. So I don't know. Like, I guess if the water were clear, but I don't know what happened, because when I was a kid, even after the jellyfish and the crab incident, I still got in. And then all of a sudden, after like 3 years of never going in the ocean, I'm like suddenly, I guess it's just a symptom of being older.
Yeah. Well, good luck finding clear water. Good luck finding clear water in New Jersey, which is like the closest to beach where I am. It's like black sludge.
Sorry, my dog is making those sounds you hear. Is my dog, I don't know what her deal is. It sounds like, just to address this, like maybe I need to let her out. She keeps doing that. Like, it sounds like she's gonna like puke or something.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Let me. She's fine. She just here. Do you have like 30 minutes or 30 minutes?
That's 30 minutes. Yeah.
It's gonna take me 30 minutes. Let me just.
Yeah, I'll just read some comments. All right. CHR Wedge says, terms of the trade, if Fields plays under 50% of games, then it's a 6th round pick. Otherwise, it's a 4th. Wilson will stink up the joint before Fields takes over. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a decent chance it's a 4th. But I mean, either way, the Bears win, right? Like, if Fields plays less than 50%, then like he still has promise, like for years in advance. But like if he's playing more than 50% of the snaps, there's a good chance that he's doing well. And so like if he's doing well, like it'll be a later 4th round pick anyway. And like, they'll probably have like pretty good success. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of that. Love to Eat says they get a lot of money in Florida. You should check it out. And then Atlantic water hurts balls. Yes. Actually, the best water experience I had, like I visited Charlie, and we were
the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, in Tampa, with the Gulf of Mexico. It was like you don't get the waves, but it was so warm. Like we went, it was July. Granted, it was July, but it was like the water was like mid 80s almost. It was crazy. It felt like going to a warm pool. It was awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty nice. I've never been like a beach. Like while I've lived in Florida, I've lived like I live like 10 minutes from the beach now. And I think I did go for a walk on the beach like maybe 6 months ago. But I don't know. It's like one of those things, like once you have it, like you never use it, like once it's, you know what I'm saying? Like you ever, like, I feel like if I ever had a pool, like that sounds like it would be really cool, but like I would probably never go in it after a while. You ever have experience like that? Like that's how I felt like when I first moved to Florida. I went to the beach like a lot the first couple of weeks, and then after that, I could count on 2 hands how many times I've gone in like 10 years.
You mean you never go into a pool after a while? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no,
or the beach.
To the beach.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I think like unless you're with people and you just want to go,
Right. I mean, if like I would probably not suggest to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like myself, but if other people want to go, I guess I'd go. But I don't know. I'm not like I need to. I should get out more. Anyhow, let's move on.
Okay.
We don't need to hear about my beach phobias.
Well, it's part of the experience with Quacky T here.
Yeah. It sure is.
All right, so I didn't get to discuss this. This happened Friday afternoon, and at the time, I thought this trade made no sense for either team, and now we kind of understand what one team was thinking. At least the Eagles got Kenny Pickett from the Steelers for swaps of 98 and 120, and then the Eagles got the Steelers got a 2025 7th round pick. So at the time yesterday, I was like, why are the Steelers giving up on Kenny Pickett? Like granted, he's played poorly in 2 years, but he's shown like he entered the NFL as a 1st round pick. So like he definitely had some upside. He's still young, although he and Jalen Hurts are only 2 months apart, which is kind of crazy. But still, he's like, yeah, he's a young quarterback with some upside. He played in a bad system under Matt Canada, played behind a bad offensive line. I thought maybe with a better system, better offensive line play, that like the Steelers could get something out of Pickett. So I'm like, why would they just trade him for a swap of 98 and 120? This doesn't make much sense. And then for the Eagles, I'm like, why would you get a young quarterback? You already have Jalen Hurts, unless like there's some sort of injury with Hurts that we don't know about. That's like long term. This trade doesn't make sense at all. And in fact, like the Eagles have Tanner McKee as a backup, and I kind of like McKee. He's not as like physically talented as Pickett, but I don't think there's that much of a difference between the two. So I really don't get this trade for the Eagles. However, now it makes sense for the Steelers because it looked like they probably knew when they made this trade that like they were on the verge of getting Fields. It was just like negotiating like last second things. So now, like I agree with this as a C- for the Steelers initially. Now it's like an A-. The Eagles, it's a D. I just don't understand this. What do you think about this trade?
What do the Eagles want with Kenny Pickett? I don't know. I think there's definitely some merit to what you said there. I mean, look at like a quarterback. Like, I mean, there's probably different opinions. Like Jared Goff. Like, remember how he was not good his first year. And he's, I don't know if I would consider him a superstar, but he's pretty good. He's done pretty well with the Lions here now. And he took that Rams team to a Super Bowl. If you want to call him a game manager or not, he did. He was on a team that went to the Super Bowl anyhow. But like, I don't know. Pickett hasn't said anything to me. I'll just never forget when they were playing the Raiders. I think it was that Raiders game on like a Monday night. And this guy, my buddy from one of my like group chats of like sports bettors, he just wrote, "Jesus, Pickett sucks." And for some reason, that just like has always stuck with that. I don't know. He just hasn't really shown me a whole lot to. I mean, this is probably not an unpopular opinion, but I don't know what the Eagles want with him. So I think it was a bad move for them, and I don't know, a little bit better than. Much better for the Steelers. So that's echoing your sentiment for the most part, I'd say.
Earth Human says never were any snakes. It's a metaphor for the Druids. Interesting. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess. The way, like, why wouldn't you just say drove the Druids out? Like, is there any like Druid be like, oh, that's so offensive? Like, why would you say that? Like, there's no like Druid around these days.
how many people do you think know what Druid is?
I only know Druid from like the Ultima game, like back in the 90s, like when you would choose like cleric or ranger, you could choose Druid.
Right.
And then, like it's a creature type in Magic the Gathering too. Like that's my knowledge. That's my knowledge of Druid. I imagine like some people in cloaks and like doing some demonic things. Like I don't know.
Yeah, and like you played like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff, or
right.
adjacent,
Right. That's what they did back then.
Let me tell you why I think that. So this was happened a few years ago, and I was at a grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. And there was someone in front of me checking out in front of me, and the cashier was a young lady, like 19, 20 years old. And the guy's total was like $17.75, and she goes $17.75, and he goes $17.75. That's almost $17.76. He goes to the cashier. He goes, "You know what happened in 1776, don't you?" And she's like, she didn't know. And then he looks at me. I'm standing behind him in line. He's like, "Do you know?" I was like, "Yeah, like this is the Declaration of Independence was signed." And this girl, like, she just felt embarrassed. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people don't know that. Yeah. But like, or more than you think. But this was her defense. It was kind of sweet. And like, she goes, "I'm not taking a history class right now." And the guy goes, "You don't need to be in a history class to know that."
No.
So anyhow, I told that story to a couple of my coworkers at the time. This is like 5 years ago, and I told them that story, and I was laughing. And one of my coworkers goes, "I didn't know that either."
Oh my god!
So I mean, if there's people that don't know that, maybe they won't know what Druids are.
Well, no wonder. Yeah, no wonder that woman at the bar didn't know who Stalin was. Like Stalin, it's people's knowledge could be limited. I watched, those like man on the street interviews where like people walk up to like random people. Yeah. This guy, Mark, I don't know if you're familiar with Mark Dice, but like he does like political videos now. But like back in the day, he used to do man on the street videos. Like he used to be in San Diego and just interview like college kids. And he would like, there's one video where he's like, "Do you know like first he asked like about 1776. He's like, well, he said, what happened in 1776? And like a lot of the kids won't know. And then he's like, from which country did America declare its independence? And like some people were like, Russia, you know, and like, you'd get like the dumbest responses ever from these people.
Hey, George, 18 points, the under 18.5 hit there. Nice work.
I know. I was looking at that. He had 16 entering the fourth quarter. I'm like, man, this is gonna lose. But yeah, he only had 2 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, beautiful. I took it too upon your recommendation. This guy don't miss here. This Walter football character. He's been hot in the National Basketball Association. For those of you that are familiar.
Yeah, I think we're 7-4-1 on the week. And we were 2 weeks ago. We were 12-2. We had a 12-0 run. So hopefully we're 4-0 in the past two nights. So hopefully it's the start of another run. It'd be awesome if you get another run like that. 1776 Columbus arrived in America, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, something like that. Around there. Give it take 10 years. Yeah. Lefty says major props to Walter to referring to the Redskins as their proper name instead of their slave name. Yeah, it's so funny that like 90% of Native Americans polled twice by the Washington Post. They like the name. They in fact there are 4 Native American high schools in this country that have Redskins as their mascot. And then you have these white people with blue check marks on Twitter be like, oh, it's so offensive. They're what, you're telling Native Americans how to think like that. I think that's super racist, you know.
I think if there's no choice but to change it, they should have just kept Washington football team. I actually thought that was kind of like in its own right, it was just different. The Commandos, if you have to change, they should have just kept the Washington football team.
It's gotten progressively worse. Like Redskins was the best. Washington football team was worse, but it was kind of unique. It was weird, but it's not horrible. But then they go to Washington Commanders, which is just so generic and basically like Lati says, the slave name, which is just like horrible, So I would have preferred if they had to change the name, which I don't think they had to, but if they really wanted to, I thought they should have gone to Hogs or Red Hogs or something like that.
Pay homage to the old offensive line. That would have been a good
Yeah, not only that, but you can go. It's not a far link from Redskins because you go Redskins to Pigskins to Pigs to Hogs, right? It's not very far. And if you want to keep red, you can go Red Hogs. And it's either way, it's unique. There's no sports team that has Red Hogs or Hogs, but Commanders, I feel like that's so many you could have minor league teams or something like that, or other leagues they have Commanders or something. It's not creative at all. It's just so bad.
Yeah. Do you know the Arkansas Razorbacks? They have I'm going to cringe telling you what it is. Do you know the Arkansas Razorbacks cheer?
It's Pig Suey.
Yeah, they're like, woo, pigs.
Yeah,
dude, it's so cringy.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? I don't know. I wouldn't want to be I wouldn't want to be at this woo pig. I don't know. It's a cringy cheer, man.
I don't get it. Maybe there's something behind it that we don't know about, but
the Razorbacks, they're pigs,
Right.
Right. Yeah, but I don't know. Anyhow, Mike with the pig emotes. What's up, Slew? How's it going?
Yeah.
1770s. You know what? Not so much that, but it's a quick tangent here. They say they could tell me anything, I believe that all those things happen. I look at the dinosaurs. I was watching Jurassic Park, the original, not too long ago. It's these dinosaurs lived 500 million years ago. It's bro, you could tell me anything. You could tell me 100,000 years ago. What that would be good enough. What would have mattered? I don't have an answer key over here. I believe that whatever system they put into place, 500 million years ago, 200 million years ago, whatever you tell me, I'm going to buy. Anyhow,
Sue says could have named them the Washington Stalins.
Oh,
yes. That would have been better than Commanders. It would have really been. Speaking of dinosaurs, what if I were to tell you that there was a species of dinosaur that was smarter than the other species? Kind of like humans are smarter than chimps. And before all the world went into the ice age, they built spaceships and they went out into outer space, and now they are far away in maybe the Delta Quadrant. What if I were to tell you that? There's actually a plot. That's actually a plot of Star Trek Star Trek Voyager episode.
I mean, I might believe it. Let me tell you something. Okay, I'm going to out myself here with this. That I can't believe I didn't know this. The dinosaur that like has the like spits the stuff at Dennis Nedry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that wasn't a real dinosaur.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
I
know about that because
I feel dumb.
I know about that because my son's like two passions right now are one Mario Brothers and two dinosaurs, and so he has all these dinosaur books that have all the species and stuff like that. And like I didn't see any of these hissing things that spit venom. So
I feel embarrassed because I consider myself to be an expert of the film. I went and saw it in theaters last summer for like the 30th anniversary. Yeah, Dilophosaurus. I think that's right. I think that's what they called it. But I didn't know. I mean, I was 7 years old when it came out. I didn't know any better. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's proof in the pudding right there. I believe anything they tell me. I mean, they might be making up the 500 billion. I mean, I believe this dinosaur that spits mud at you and makes you go blind was real.
Yeah.
I mean, up until like last year.
we had that on Thursday where like people were announcing fake signings that happened, and like I was like, oh wow, did that happen? And like someone's like Cortland Sutton to the Panthers for a first round pick. I'm like, wow, really? So like I was searching on Twitter to see if it happened. So it's kind of like the same thing where like people could tell you anything, you believe it. Yeah, no. So yeah, my son's super into dinosaurs. Jurassic World Camp Crustaceous. It's an animated show, actually pretty good. I recommend it. It's like, I mean, it's a kid's show, whatever. Like my son like was really into it. It's actually like not that bad. Steven Spielberg is actually a part of it. And it's like 6 seasons. Like it's actually like pretty interesting show. Like it's not like my son is now watching another dinosaur show called what is it? It's like Dino Ranch or something like that. And I love Dino Ranch. Oh my god, he loved Dino Ranch. It was so. I'm gonna write a Jerks of the Week about it. There's one episode where, well, first of all, they've these 3 kids. They're 3 siblings. One is a white kid, one is an Asian girl, and one is a Hispanic kid. And the father is white guy and the mom's a black woman. Okay, so you're like, all right, maybe these kids were adopted or something like that. But like the Mexican kid just like speaks Mexican or Spanish, and like you know, if he were adopted, why? Like I don't know. Like it's so weird how like they're just different races. Like it, and then like in the plot of this one episode, two T-Rexes were 2 male T-Rexes were really angry. They're like, oh, why are these T-Rexes so angry? And the reason they were so angry is because they couldn't have dino eggs, and so they wanted their own dino egg so they could raise the dinosaur together. The 2 male T-Rexes could raise the dinosaur together, and then like you saw like then they gave him a dino egg, and like they're like hugging each other and kissing. It's like, what is going on here? My wife was like, this is making me so angry.
I don't even know what to say, man. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, like I said, I could say this stuff. I can't get canceled. I don't want you to get canceled or anything like that. But I'm just giving you the synopsis of the show.
You know what? Let me tell you this other story. So back in like 2021, right? I guess so I was with my dad actually. We were just like sitting down watching a movie, and all of a sudden we hear this boom, like it was the loudest thing I ever heard, and it was actually kind of scary because like we jumped up and we were like, what the hell is that? And like we walked outside. I thought maybe like a car was going really fast in the neighborhood and like hit a parked car or something, or like, you know, I didn't know what it was, but it was kind of creepy because when we walked out the door, like everyone in the neighborhood was like walking out their door, like looking around, like what was that? Like everyone heard it. So in like a window of 1 minute, I was texting this girl I was seeing at the time, and I was like, did you just hear that? Like, what was that? And she told me, she said, apparently like a giant meteor hit like somewhere in Missouri. Wow. And I was like, what? But like, it's so because it was such a short time. Like 1 minute later, it was like, Elon Musk and like SpaceX, it was a sonic boom. It was a sonic boom. But in that little short time window, she's like, but I believed it.
I just believe that too. So
yeah, so it was like, but it was like, of course, like that sounds like something that would happen to me in that 1 minute time window. I get this full story about something. Like, I'm telling my dad that like a meteor hit, you know, like, oh no, like, I mean, luckily, can you imagine if I had shared that online or something? I don't know. I guess not there's not that many people reading my statuses, I guess. But
what wasn't there the one thing on the radio where they announced like the aliens have landed, the Martians have landed, or something like
War of
that,
the World,
and like yeah, and then it was just fiction, and like some people believed it.
Yeah, because people didn't realize that they were just telling a story.
Right.
It was like, get at 7:00 we're gonna read the I cannot think of his name now. The author, George, who wrote War of the Worlds. I can't think of it, but yeah, they didn't they tuned in late or whatever, not knowing that they're just telling a story. They thought it was a real people freaked out. It's a pretty interesting story actually. So.
Yeah, Wells, H.G. Wells.
We cover it all here: dinosaurs to space aliens.
That's right,
and everything in between, and the occasional football.
Well, I mean, we covered both in one thing when I told you about the Star Trek Voyager episode, and so
Orson Welles.
Where's the Wells? There you go.
That's right.
Where's the H.G. Wells? I thought it was H.G. Wells.
What did I say, George?
Mekhi Becton, Chiefs. I would love the signing. Yeah, I think that would be a good move. The Chiefs need a tackle. And Becton is, a guy with a high upside but a super low floor. So if you could get him for like a team friendly deal, I think that would be a good move for the Chiefs. This other trade that we had, there are no players involved. The Vikings got the number 23 and 232 picks from the Texans. Texans got 42, 188, and a 2025 second rounder. I've seen like projections for this all over the place, like trade value chart stuff. I've seen some trade value analysis saying the Vikings won. I've seen saying the Texans won. But like what the Vikings are trying to do is they're trying to move up for a quarterback. They now have 11 and 23, so they could trade. I feel like they could easily trade up to the top 5 now. They'd have to give up 11, 23, and obviously some other stuff, but they could definitely do it, and they could get JJ McCarthy if they move ahead of the Giants, or if they really want to, and the Patriots are willing to be stupid, they can move up to number 3 and get Drake May or Jaden Daniels. And I think that would be the ultimate goal for Minnesota, to get one of the elite quarterback prospects. And I don't know why the Patriots would trade out of 3, but that's what people are speculating. But either way, like at least like the Vikings have a plan. I don't like it could backfire, obviously, if they get a bad quarterback, just giving up way too many resources, but they have no quarterback right now. So I kind of get the move. If I were them, I'd probably just like, unless they really think they can get May or Daniels at 3, like that's fine. But if they're only moving up for McCarthy, I would just I'd rather just stay at 42, just get Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix. So this trade has some risk, but I guess it really depends on what they do next. That'll kind of tell the tale of how good this trade is. So any thoughts on this?
I really don't have too many thoughts on it, but I'm looking at your grading system here, and let me ask you something. When you were in high school, what was an A, a B, a C, a D for you? Like, was it an A? This is probably going to sound strange because I think I'm in the minority with what I'm about to tell you. Was like an A 90 to 100 for you?
Yeah. Yeah, 89. Yeah, B is 80 to 89, C is 70, 79, D is 60, 69, and like F was 59 or worse.
Right. It's 10, like a 10 point.
Right.
Okay, so in my high school growing up, and I don't think I've ever met anyone, like maybe one person who had a similar grading scale. So in my high school, 93 to 100 was an A, 85 to 92 was a B, 77 to 84 was a C, 70 to 76 was a D, and anything under 70 was failing.
That's harsh.
Yeah, like, and I just thought that was normal. And then like when I came to college, I was like, oh, like I got a B+ on this. And like, no, like you got an A. Like, oh, like, because remember at Penn State, like some classes would do the plus-minus system.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which I don't know. I mean, the thing about the plus-minus system is there's no A+. Or at least there wasn't. So it's like, so it can only hurt like the smart kids. It can go either way for like the mediocre kids, and it can only benefit like the dumb kids, I guess, so to speak. But like, because there was no A+, and then some courses wouldn't have a C-, or like they wouldn't do like the like the plus-minus bit. But yeah, like I think I was like in a way better prepared, because people were like, "Are you serious? That's so weird." Like 85 to like an 84 was a C. They're like, that's like a solid B. Like everywhere else. Mm-hmm. So I think it like helped, maybe just like conditioned me to have higher expectations. I was living my best life.
Yeah, it's so weird that they would do that. It's funny how like the grading system works. In school, it's like, yeah, if you get 90%, you get an A, like in most schools. So like, but if you're a baseball hitter, and you like, it's impossible to bat 900. If you're batting 300, you're getting a hit 30% of the time, and that's considered really good. So like, why is it like 90%? Like, why is that in school, whereas like baseball is 30%? Like, it's so weird, right?
Yeah. Or like basketball, if you're hitting like, if you shoot like 50% like from the field, that's pretty, it's pretty solid.
Right.
But it's like, I used to have a music teacher that said that, because I used to play clarinet and saxophone. I used to sing for a band, but I had a music teacher that said, because he loved baseball too, he's a big Yankees fan. So, and he knew the game well. He's like, isn't that funny? He was like, if you hit, it's like, just like you said, like if you hit 300, like you can have like a big contract in baseball. He's like, if what we played, only 30% of it was correct, like no one would ever want to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, huh, like that's like you told me that when I was like 18. So yeah, for sure, it is. Oh, what are we? Mike's here with the modern grading here. 50 to 100 is an A.
50 to 100 is an A. 0 to 50 is a pass. Everyone gets a Princess Face of trivia. It's basically true.
0 to 50 is a pass. Is that what it is now? I'll tell you what. I took a class when I was finishing my associates here in. And it was like, dude, you got extra credit for everything. It was a history class, and I happen to be interested in history. But like, if you handed in, like, if you took notes in class and turned in your notes, you got like bonus points. Like everything you did, like you turned in your paper early. There's like 18,000 like projects you could do that had like, and you could pick like anything from history. And then it was like, if you turn it in early, you get like 20% extra credit, like a day. It's like he just gave you extra credit for anything. Like I don't know how anyone could fail that course unless you just didn't show up at all. It was the easiest class like ever. So like, I think I ended up with like 150% or something. Like it was something crazy. But yeah, so I don't know. Maybe the modern system isn't too far off. I mean, it wasn't like that when I got my bachelor's, but that was just one class happened to be that way. Anyhow.
Yeah. Sue says in high school, my brother got a D in arts. How's that happen? I took an art class my freshman year. It was a waste of time. Like we had to take either art or music.
It's a way. Yeah, you took a music appreciation class and you didn't appreciate it at all, huh?
No. I did. We had to choose between art and music. I chose art because I used to take piano lessons all the time, and I was just tired. I was tired of it, and so in hindsight, it should have just been music. But yeah, it was art. Was just like it was so stupid. Like why are we learning this? Like we don't learn how to balance a budget or write a resume in high school, but we learn art and like the history of art. It's like, who cares? Like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter at all. It should be an elective. Like it should be forced to take.
You think that's bad? You know what I had to do? When I was at Penn State at first, I was a music education major. So guess what we had to do in like one of our our education classes? We had to teach like little kid songs. Okay. Like for a grade, like we had to teach a 15-minute lesson. And at one point, it was usually like with just our other classmates that were also going to have their own turn, like to do a different kid song. But then one time they brought in the elementary education majors, like not music like So it's like, who are the elementary, like who are the people that are going to like teach like kindergarten for like all hot girls.
Right.
Like it's all hot girls in elementary ed. And I'm up there like, we all live on the farm, like 50 in front of like 50 hot girls.
Oh man.
Like singing cows and pigs and chickens and ducks. Like it's so embarrassing, dude.
Oh, they love that though.
Yeah, but like they were, like afterward, they'd be like, oh, like, you did a really good job. Cause like they had to do their own version of that.
Right.
Oh my God. But so if you thought you had it bad with art history, man.
Well, no, I in college I had it bad with computer science because like that was a sausage fest. Like it would be like 90% guys, and like the one girl would have like a mustache. Like it was just terrible. Like I swear, like the entire time I was in comp sci, like I didn't speak to any girls at all in college. Like it was awful, especially because like my freshman year I lived in an all male dorm, like not my choice at all. They just put me in there, and so like I like between that and my major, I had like no contact with women at all. Like it was just a horrible experience my freshman year in college.
Oh, I forget. Wait, you were comp sci your first major? Your first major? Your first year?
My first 4 years, I was comp sci. And my spring semester, my senior year, I go to my guidance counselor. I'm like, hey, I want to change my major. And she's like, oh, what are you, sophomore or junior? I'm like, senior. And she's like, aren't you supposed to be graduating? I'm like, yes. I was like, I have to change my major. I'm like, not going to graduate comp sci. I can't get through these courses. I hate them so much. And so
I didn't know this. How did I not know this about you?
Well, it's before we met. I met you the first year I changed to journalism. And that like completely changed my outlook on life. Like, cause like before that, I was kind of like miserable, like I was just always in a bad mood. Cause like I was never like good at comp sci. I was at first, but then like progressively, like we didn't even do computer science. It was like more computer engineering than science. It was so stupid. And like we had to work in like Unix and like Linux. It's just like I just want to write code, and like we just wouldn't do it, and like it was just a horrible experience. I hated it. And then like I always liked running the site, which I did back then in my free time, and I'm like, I should do something I like, so I would change to sports journalism. And that was like one of the best. Like that was the best decision I ever made when it came to school. Just doing that because because suddenly like I was in something like I liked a lot, and I thought I was good at it, and so that gave me more confidence in like every aspect of life, and like it just changed my whole demeanor, changed like who I was as a person. I was like I think you should always do like what you want or what you like, just like rather than something that makes you miserable.
That's awesome, man. I didn't know that. I can't. I feel like a bad friend. I didn't know that about you. That because it was like was it your fourth or fifth year when you lived next door to me, and I knew you were sports journalism then.
Yeah, it was my fifth year. That's when I first started sports journalism.
Wow, man, dude, yeah, it definitely changed the whole course of your life and everything that you've built, man. That's an awesome story.
Yeah,
that's a really awesome story, man.
Yeah, you know what I mean? If we met a year earlier, I don't know if we would have been friends, because like I was like I don't know, I was just, like in a different mindset. Like I was not like, completely like different person, and so it just changed everything I was.
Yeah, for sure. It's so interesting how things work out.
Yeah,
work out like that, man. Dude, good share. I can't believe I didn't. I feel I should know that. I mean, I guess I don't need to know everything about you, but I mean, no, good story. Good story. Yeah, man, for sure. I kind of did it the opposite. Well, I still never figured it out, but I went to school for music originally, real quick, and then I just did it because I was good at it, not because I, maybe not too unlike maybe your situation, but like, and I came from a family of musicians, but I was just like, I really don't like this that much, but I don't know what my passion is other than talking a lot. I mean, public speaking is my passion, but I don't know like what I would do with that. But anyhow, we can move on. Good stuff though, man. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks. Lefty says my brother graduated with a music degree. He is a security guard.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way it. I remember I have a bachelor's degree in business now, so like I just remember I had this accounting professor who said like unless you go into something like very like specific, like you're going to go to med school or law school or something eventually. He's like most of the time, like these days, having a bachelor's degree like proves that you like completed something, so it's like I know my point being is that like I know so many people that have gotten a degree in one thing and made like had a career in something completely different, so it's funny how that works. Love to eat, but yeah, I mean hopefully your brother can get a teaching job of some kind or something related to music.
Yeah.
Art was invented in 17. Well, ask Walt. He took the art history class. You weren't you the TA?
Yeah, the TA in my freshman year of high school. Yes, I was definitely the TA. It was like I said, I don't know. I can't tell you anything from that. It's funny. I was actually like before we move on to some signings. I was having this conversation with I think Ben.
I know Ben. Yeah,
Ben. Yeah, he was over. My friend Ben. I've been friends with him for forever. I think slightly longer than I've been friends with you. I've been friends with him since like 2000. And because we went to high school together. And so I was talking to him. He was over. Like we're just hanging out. And I was like, it's weird. I was like, I'll ask you this question. Do you know what a mitochondria is?
Mitochondria, yeah, it's part of the cell, right? The plant.
It's for part of the cell, but can you tell me what it does? I'm not grilling you. Just like I'm trying to prove a point.
Have something to do with photosynthesis, process of photosynthesis.
I don't know. Are you confident in that answer?
I mean, I think I'm close. It's a plant cell, right?
Yeah.
There's like the nucleus, the mitochondria. There's the. I mean, I can't think of anything else. They're all part of the plant cell, but like, doesn't the mitochondria have something to do with like the photosynthesis, the process of photosynthesis? What is photosynthesis now? It's when the light creates. I don't know. The process of the plants giving off oxygen, right?
Right. Well, yeah. So, like, my point is, like, you're guessing. You might be right, but like, you're not like confident in the answer, right? Like, if.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that. Like, I'll look it up. I'll say like.
No, you don't have to look it up. This is like my whole point. Like, if I ask you to solve a quadratic equation right now, could you do it?
No way. What is it? 4 minus AB squared. I can't even tell you what it is now.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like, this is stuff we learned in high school, you know, and it's like why were we learning this stuff in high school when there's like no application to real life? You know, I always thought, like, yeah, if you're really interested in biology, sure, you could do that. Or if you want to have an advanced degree in math and like do stuff in math in your real life, then sure.
Right.
But like, what's the point? Like, why? Like in high school, why aren't we learning like stuff that could be applicable in real life? Like, you know, learning how to write a resume, or learning how to balance a budget, or just like basic things that like make more sense. I always thought that like there's a huge fail on the educational system.
And I definitely agree. And I would say just to play devil's advocate, the only defense I could come up with is like, to help you make you more versatile as a person, because life isn't always going to go as planned. Like, maybe I'm reaching a little bit here with this explanation. Like, life isn't always going to go as planned. So like, you need to learn, like, you need to have some experience, like doing things that you don't want to do, or like are outside of your comfort zone, sort of thing. And like, it broadens your horizons that way. Like, that's the argument I'd come up with against. But I also like very much agree with you. Like, yeah, like write a resume, like doing taxes or whatever is like another popular thing, you know, but like, I think it's good to broaden your horizons, but like to an extent that like you're interested in. It's different when you're like forced to, you know. So, but I definitely agree. People can't write to save their lives anymore. I swear, and I hate to make a sweeping generalization like that, but you know what I mean. Like, a lot of people can't.
No, they can't. And I just think it's a huge failure on the educational system. Like the stuff, like, I get what you're saying. Like, it broadens your horizons, I guess, but like, for 99.9% of the people who learn what a mitochondria is, they will forget. And I was asking Ben, he's like, no, I don't know what that is. I'm like, yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure either. And like, most people couldn't, and yet they learn it in high school. And like, for what reason? You know, it's just a complete waste of time, I think.
Wait, so are you telling me that you think I'm like in like the 99th percentile of like people that might like be close? You think I'm in a high percentile?
Mitochondria parts of a nerve cell that discovered at what stage she was in 1776. Next question. Yeah, that'll get you an A. That'll get you the 90 that you're hoping for. No, all this stuff is just training to like do a job. That's all school is. It's just like, yeah, you go 9 to 5, or 9 to 3. You go 9 to 3 instead of 9 to 5. You're trained to go from like one class to another. You're trained to do homework and study and memorize useless things for the most part. And just like tedious work that it just prepares you for 9 to 5 work in real life. That's all it is. It's just like, why don't they teach you stuff that's relevant? It's because they want you to memorize stuff.
For sure. And to take that a step further, you know what I always thought was silly, and I'm sure there's going to be people that disagree with this. It may not be that popular of an opinion, but like, I think remember when Derrick Rose was at Memphis and John Calipari was there, and like he got or like they made him vacate. That was the year they lost to Kansas in the national championship. But Calipari was like, I guess they like lied about his Derrick Rose's SAT scores, or he's getting improper grades or something. It's like, I don't mean to be whatever, but like at the end of the day, like who cares? Like
Right.
Derrick, like this, he has like the athletic ability of a god. And it's like, who cares if he knows about the quadratic equation? I mean, I'm not saying like everyone be stupid, but like, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah, he's not going to school for educational stuff. He's going there just for basketball. Like that's his major, is a basketball player. That's what he's going to do in real life. Like you go to college, well, theoretically, to get a degree so you can get a better job, but like Derrick Rose is going to get that job in a year, or he like back then he was going to get it in a year. So like, why does he have to learn all this stuff? It just seems silly.
Yeah, he just dedicate himself to his craft.
Right.
Really,
exactly.
You know. Yeah. So like, you know, that's why I really, because some people are really, that whole document that how I know that I watched that, it's called One and Not Done. It's the 30 for 30 on John Calipari and how he encourages like the players to go, like now they're required to do 1 year of college, or, you know, I mean, you basically have to go. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same exposure you would, you know, just waiting until you're 19 or whatever the rule is.
Yep.
But like Calipari would be like, you're not, like, if you're ready to go in the draft, like you go, like, don't come back here. Which I think is of course you would. Like, I think it's so silly. Like, you know, back in the day, like in like the 80s and just, you know, the 90s too, you know, the players stayed in school a lot longer. You know, like guys like Ralph Sampson and Christian Laettner, they were there all 4 years, you know, some of the greats. Marcus Camby, you know, those are the three of my favorite college players of all time right there.
Yep.
But like, you know, but it's like your body's a depreciating asset. That's like true. What, like you can go back and get like school will never go away. School, you can always go back. Like, just go. I don't understand. I mean, if anyone disagrees in the comments, I want to hear it. But your body's a depreciating asset. Just go. You want to go back and get like a communications degree so that you can come back and like sit on the panel and talk about football some more after you know what I mean? Like, you can do it anytime.
Yeah, so, I think Larry Fitzgerald got his degree like well into his career. You know, he could always do that later. Love to Eat says, give Reggie his Heisman. Yes.
100%. Nothing irritates me more than like the Reggie Bush situation. Maybe my favorite college football player of all time. I love Reggie Bush at USC. And he had a solid NFL career too, but what a legend. But it's like, oh wow, like this kid, he comes from nothing and like someone's offering his mom, like, come on. And then like what, okay, like he broke like a stupid rule. Sure, like he did break a rule, but like that doesn't have anything to do with his performance on the field. Like, why would you take that away?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. It's still the
crazy thing now, like, is he could get away with everything now because they changed all the rules.
It's so stupid. That has always just it infuriated me. God, he was so good. God,
Mike says there should be a college freshman course in plagiarism. At least it's a useful skill. Yes.
You know what's funny? I thought about don't report this to the authority. Could I get in any trouble for this? Like, I would put ads up around like the local colleges, like, I will write your paper for you, like for money. But like they would probably get in trouble, right? Would I wouldn't, because I don't go to school there. Would I be on the hook for anything if I got caught?
I don't think so. Like it's not
illegal.
No, it's not. I mean, there are like businesses that do that. Like, I mean, you would get the kid in trouble. They might get kicked out of school, but like I don't think you would get in trouble. I don't think you're breaking any laws.
I don't think so either. I mean, like it wouldn't be like aiding and abetting like academic fraud or anything, right? No. Yeah, because that would just be within the academic institution, I guess. Right. I would have to put that in the fine print. You know, you're at risk, not like.
Yeah. You know, so. Blame racism. That'll get it done. Yeah. No. With plagiarism, we took this health class in senior year of my high school, and we had to write these like tedious papers. It's so stupid. And like, I like my friend Kenny, and not Kenny from the show, another Kenny in our class. He would be like, yeah, I was friends with all the Kennys in high school. Yes. No, he's like, Walt, let me get you your paper. He's like, I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I'll pay you $10. I was like, okay, sure. I'm like, dude, just change some words, please. Like change some verbs or not nouns, but like change some verbs or adjectives, just like, so we don't have the same paper, you know? He's like, yeah, it's cool. And like a month later, I get called down to the health teacher's office, and like, he's like, He's like, can you tell me which one of these is yours? And it's like, dude, there's 10 papers of the same 10 papers. I'm like, oh my God, this Kenny guy.
Oh,
Like because he gave out my paper to other people and he just got like didn't change at all. And like, dude, come on. And so
oh,
yeah. So I got a D for the class. Thank God. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter. But like I was like, thank goodness, like I didn't get an F for the class. I probably still would have graduated, but yeah, I was like, come on, man, like just be smart about the stuff. If you're gonna plagiarize, like change words, change verbs and adjectives, like, and maybe move around a couple of paragraphs, and just be smart about it.
Exactly. And that's bush league, man. Like I remember when I went to UCF, like I took this class. It was a tough class. I actually it was the only C I got at UCF, I think. It was called Quantitative Business Tools 2. And it's a combination of statistics and calculus. So like, it sucks. And I don't even really know what was happening, but I got out of there. But anyhow, so the online quizzes that you would take at home were worth 20% of the final, the cumulative, like the whole course grade. So anyhow, like it's the same quiz for everybody. So guess what people were doing? It'd be like a 10-question quiz, and some people would, because it's on a timer as well. Mm. So it's like people, like their friends taking it, they're getting all the answers, and then because it would show you the answers afterwards. I don't know why they would do that. Obviously you would know the questions and you'd know your score, but sometimes they would block them out. But most of the time they wouldn't. You could see like the correct answers. So then the next person is like taking screenshots of that and going, start quiz, boom, 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 submit 100%. It's like, how did you answer 10 questions in like 19 and a half seconds and get 100%? Freaking dolts. So anyhow, like we come in like after the first quiz, and the professor stands up there and he's like, well, I am on to all of you, like basically explain what I just explained here. And he's like, now the quizzes will be worth, instead of 20%, only 10% of the total grade, and the final will now be worth 40% of the total grade instead of 30. I was like, you freaking morons. Like, like, come on, that's bush league, man. Yeah, that's amateur hour.
Yeah, you got to get an answer. You got to get one answer wrong.
Yeah,
you can't,
or let the timer run out. It's a normal amount of time to take the stupid quiz. Come on, you can't even read all of the questions in 19 or whatever it was. Right. People are so like, God, like people just don't think things. I mean, I guess I have like with something, I have my own version of that maybe, but probably. But like, I don't know, like think something through. Anyhow.
All right, let's
I digress.
Let's get through these signings. Then I want to get to your futures bet, which I bet already. Okay. All right, so Panthers signed K'Lavon Chaisson, 1 year, $5 million. This guy was I think the 20th overall pick in the draft 4 years ago, but he's had 5 sacks in his career, so he's been a huge bust. He's still only 24 though, so there might be some upside. And so, like, I don't mind the signing, but like $5 million seems like a lot for this guy. Like, I would have given him like 2.5. But, that could be the base salary. But like, I factor in like the fake numbers for every contract because every contract is bloated. Like the agents lie about everything. Like that's how these contract details get linked to like Schefter and Rappaport. Like all they do is like talk to agents. And so like the agents will tell them what the contract is and they'll just report it. And so that's because they just want to make themselves look good because they want more clients. And so that's how this works. Panthers signed DJ Wanham, 2 years, $14.5 million. I like this a lot more. He's another edge rusher. He's only 26, so he like Chaisson, he has a lot of upside, but he's actually shown that potential. Like he looks like a good player, someone who could maybe. I don't think he's going to have Brian Burns's production, but like maybe he can be like 75% of what Burns was, and then I think this would be a good signing for the Panthers. The Packers re-signed AJ Dillon, 1 year, $2.74 million. Tom, if I told you, or if you told me after that Cowboys playoff game that the Packers would get rid of Aaron Jones and keep AJ Dillon, I would have called you crazy. I would have had you committed to the local mental institution. Like, what are you nuts? Like, I don't understand what the Packers are doing with AJ Dillon. I don't know why they like him. You're a Packer fan. Tell me why this makes any sense.
I don't know that it does. I mean, Dillon had like, in my eyes, he had a lot of promise earlier in his career. I thought he had a high ceiling, but he just hasn't, especially the last couple of years. I've always just been a fan of his because, like him, I have giant calf muscles too. So I don't I don't know why I've always like kind of rooted for him. He's like the Brock Osweiler of running backs for me. It's like I don't really have a reason like to root for him too hard. He hasn't been that great, but I really want him to do well, sort of thing, you know. So that's how I feel. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I guess it was a salary cap issue. I mean, I really think Josh Jacobs is going to be. Oh boy, am I excited for the get Christian Watson healthy. You know, another. I mean, that team is so young. Every one of their receivers is first year, was a rookie or second year, in their tight ends, and I just think Jordan Love, I mean, is showing so much upside. I mean, and their inexperience showed. God, like, I'll tell you what. I think that loss to the 49ers, it did hurt me a little bit because then it would have been Packers and Lions in the NFC Championship game. Either my team would have made the Super Bowl or the Lions' future would have come. So that was pretty disappointing for me. But I mean, their inexperience showed down the stretch of that game, that divisional game against the 49ers. But the future is really bright for them. I love the Josh Jacobs signing. AJ Dillon, I mean, I think he's falling below expectations, but I think he's okay. Like he could be a decent, second string back, but we'll see. I'm just excited about the team in general. So sorry to go off on a.
It's a good team. It's a good team. I don't like this Dillon move. I think he sucks. I think it's a waste. I think it's a 2.5. I think it's a waste of $2.5 million. Like they could just like given it to charity or something, rather than sign Dillon.
Giving it to charity. Sign one of us.
It would have more use. It would have more use than giving it to Dillon. Mike says they have software to find plagiarism, but they also have AI to alter the plagiarism. So the plagiarism war rages on. I don't know if you saw that South Park episode where like the kids figure out that they can write their essays using AI. And then the teacher, he's like, wow, the kids' writing has gotten so much better. What is happening here? And his boyfriend, it's not Mr. Slave, I forget who it is now, but like Mr. Garrison's boyfriend is like, he's like about AI, right? And he's like, no, what's that? And he tells him, and Mr. Garrison's like, oh my god, I can't believe it. And like his boyfriend's like, oh, are you gonna fail them? He's like, no, I'm gonna use AI to grade these papers.
That's awesome. Yeah, everyone's looking for the easiest way out, Yeah,
it's great episode. Love South Park. All right. Panthers signed Jordan Fuller, 1 year, $5.25 million. Safeties are getting underpaid this offseason. Like I haven't seen one expensive safety contract yet. This is a great deal. Fuller's a really good player, especially in run support, and like Carolina's had major issues against the run. So I like this move. There's no risk attached. Just 1 year, $5 million and change, and it's going to be good. And then two big signings, or I guess like let's get to this quick one. The Seahawks signed Jerome Baker, 1 year, $7 million. The Seahawks lost Bobby Wagner and Jordan Brooks this offseason, so they needed linebackers like pretty badly. So getting Jerome Baker is nice. He's only 27, so he's still going to be good. There's no regression here. He's really good in coverage. I think better so than Wagner and Brooks. Wagner obviously was so much better when he was younger, but now he's I think he's 34. So yeah, they're getting a younger version of Wagner basically. And Baker, at least I think there's some injury concerns. That's the one downside with him, but like 1 year contract here, like you're not taking on any risks. So I love this move. And then the big move was the Jets signed Tyron Smith for 1 year, $20 million. I gave this a B+ because the Jets are in a position to take a gamble like this. If this were like a mediocre team signing Tyron Smith, like for example, like if like the Titans sign him, or the Redskins or something like that, if they sign him to like this sort of contract, I'd be like, this is awful because they're just wasting $20 million here. Like Tyron Smith is not going to get them a Super Bowl. Whereas like the Jets are like, they have a great defense. They have a great number one receiver. Breece Hall, I think, is going to have an amazing year. Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back healthy, like I think he's still going to be really good. And so like the only thing the Jets were missing really is the number 2 receiver and better offensive lineman. And now they have one in Tyron Smith. But like there's risk attached to him because He's had major injury problems, but the Jets are going all in, and so I think it's good for them to take a gamble like this, because if it pays off, like that could get them to Super Bowl, like having elite protection for Rodgers. If it fails, then at least they took a shot, and they're going all in anyway. So I don't think it's like the end of the world if this fails. So yeah, I like this move. So any thoughts on any of these signings? Anything you want to touch on before we get to the futures?
I'll tell you what, I really like that Panthers tweet. It's like the Panthers are going to be scary next year, and you were like, "What's so scary about it?"
yeah. From FanDuel tweeted that out. I'm surprised FanDuel didn't block me. There's been a blocking craze for me this week.
It's trending.
Yeah, Mike Florio blocked me a couple days ago.
What?
Yeah, he blocked. Yeah, Mike Florio blocked me because he tweeted out something like Aaron Rodgers believes these conspiracies about I think it was like one of the school shootings or something like that. Like he tweeted that out, and I replied, I'm like, oh, the horror, and he blocked me for that. In fairness, though, it was his time of the month, so he was extra moody.
I think I did see that screenshot. I think I did see that on there.
Yeah, so it was like a story in 4 parts. Like it was his tweet, that was my tweet, and then someone was like, "Be careful, Walt. His flow is extra heavy right now." And then you've been blocked. It's like
story in 4 parts. 4 acts.
Yes. And then I was blocked by Adam Kinzinger. It was like one of the most repulsive human beings ever. And I'm so glad that he blocked me because I always see his tweets like nonstop. Like,
I can't hear you.
What'd you say? You're are you there? Can anyone hear me? Can anyone hear me? I mean, if you're in the chat, can you say if you hear me? Mike Florio. I hear sounds on your end, Tom.
Okay, I got you now. I don't know what happened. Sorry. I get one mistake a year. One technical difficulty mistake a year there. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I don't know what happened there.
Okay. No, I was saying
first day on the new brain, so sorry everyone.
I was saying that Adam Kinzinger blocked me. He's like one of the most repulsive human beings on the planet. And so I was like really glad that he blocked me because I always see his tweets. They always come up. I don't follow him, but like I always see his tweets in my timeline. So he's always like, we got to give more money to Ukraine. I was like, dude, come on. He's like one of those people because like he profits off that war. He makes so much money off the war. So like he wants more money to Ukraine, of course. And so like I always like have like snide replies to him, and like I feel like this one guy always replies to me. His name is Neil Goldberg. I think it was Kinzinger's like all account because like he would always defend him. He'd be like Kinzinger would be a great president one day. I'm like no sane person believes that. And so like I keep calling him Adam, and then like as soon as I say Adam, like he stops replying to me, and then like a few weeks later, I'll reply to Kinzinger again, and then like it would be Neil Goldberg again replying to me, and then I'll be like, "Hey, Adam," and like he'll just stop. So I think it's his alt account, and so like Kinzinger finally blocked me tonight. It was so great. I was so glad that he blocked me.
It's a red letter day. Geez, yes. my Twitter. I mean, I'm hardly on Twitter anymore, but my feed is like I don't. Well, I'll tell you why, because I was trolling a couple of them. It's always like girls in like low cut shirts, and like the picture is heavily filtered, and it's like, oh, like something happened to me. Like, can you donate? And like, there's like I'm actually not like wouldn't be surprised if these accounts were like AI. But it's like low cut shirt, like, like, and there's people like, and there's just a bunch of dudes in there. I mean, it gets thousands of comments like, oh, like, I'm so happy to help you. Like, you deserve better. It's like, why? You don't know. So like, I just commented on there. I was like, imagine falling for this.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that was my first mistake, was trolling those, because now I see them all the time. That's like Twitter is always like, it's always like extreme news on my feed, or some scantily clad female, or like extreme news about something. It's just I don't know. It's or the artist formerly known as Twitter, I guess. X now. Does anyone even call it X?
No, I call it Twitter. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's AI, but people do fall for it though. Like,
Oh yeah.
I know a guy who a few years ago he's excited. He's like, hey, well, I'm talking to this girl. She's from Mexico. I go, that's cool. So like he showed me a picture. Like she's pretty really attractive. Like pretty young. Like he was like in this guy's like in his 50s. She's like 25 or 30. And so like he was telling me all about her, and he's like, yeah, I've sent her some money. I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, I can't wait to meet her. Like she always says she's going to come here, but it's a long process. I'm like, oh, why don't you go down there to meet her in Mexico? He's like, she said not to come. I'm like, oh man, what is going on here? And like I feel like it was like he's definitely getting catfished, and like I'm afraid to ask about like what happened, but like it seemed like so obvious. But and like I never thought like people would fall for that stuff, because on my site I have a section where I reply to these people to pretend, and I always say that like I'm like distracting them so they don't go after people who are gullible about it. But I didn't think anyone actually was gullible, but like people do fall for it apparently. So
Well,
it sucks.
yeah, and I think no, for sure, and I think to some extent, like love. I mean, I guess to like use an old cliche, like love, like is blind. Like it makes you do like some weird. Like I would never like. Have you seen that or heard of this documentary called The Tinder Swindler? On it's on Netflix. It's a really crazy story. Basically, this guy like he basically conveyed that he was like rich. He's on private jets. This company's got all this money. He's living like that lifestyle. But anyhow, like he was just like a giant con man. Like he was conning like 5 different women at the same time, and he would ask them for like, I mean, he'd come up with these. It's just the tip of the iceberg. These elaborate stories that made it very believable, to them. But like some of these women gave him like $70,000, and it's like, and I'm not victim blaming or anything like that, but it's like I wouldn't give somebody I just met $20. Right. Like, I mean, also I don't have $70,000.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to, but I mean, I guess my devil's advocate is like like love is blind, but I would never send anybody. I mean, hell, I hardly let people like borrow money anyway, but. Hey, Kevin, thank you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Kevin Kovac, thanks so much for the $20 super chat. Really appreciate it. This is awesome. Like I said, like this is a big upgrade from the $1.90 maximum that we were going to get for the show. So thank you so much, Kevin.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man.
Yeah, he says, love catching the show when I can. Hope you are seeing increased success from this line of content. Yeah, it does seem like the show is growing. It seems like we get more new people in here all the time. And so, yeah, we're just trying to build this community and try to get the show out there. I was told recently that YouTube doesn't say that we're live, so I have to look into that. So hopefully that'll help with the views and everything like that. But yeah, I mean, it's super chats like this that keep the show going.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
It's been so interesting too, Walt, kind of piggybacking off what Kevin was saying, like what we kind of turned it in, like our nights of the week, what it's kind of turned into of like just going off on tangent. It's been so much fun, man. It's basically like this is just like what a Walt and like a phone call would be. You guys get to watch it. So it's been cool because it's always been like football, and then like this season we let it go, especially in the off season. Let it go to other topics. It's been so much fun, man, and we appreciate everyone's support. So keep on tuning in. We love it. We love seeing you.
Yeah. Let's get to your future that you like. The one that I bet already. It's in the NHL. It is a Stanley Cup winner. Do you want to tell us what it is and why you like it so much?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I really like this Nashville Predators team. I've been watching them. I've caught maybe 3 or 4 of their games in the last couple weeks. This team, I think, is maybe hitting their stride right at the right time. They're 42-1 to win the Stanley Cup right now. They're 11-0-2 in their last 13 games. They have, I mean, that Yossi and Forsberg line, their first line is really strong, of course. But they've got some good, some good role players. They picked up Ryan O'Reilly. Colton Sissons is really looking good. As well, it really seems like they have a balanced attack, and also Saros. You say Saros is 8-0-2 in his last 10 starts. Like, I really think that there's a good chance that this team is hitting their stride right now. And at 42-1, I mean, as I've discussed before, hockey, like, you can beat any seed in hockey. And in fact, the only time the Nashville Predators have made the Stanley Cup back in the 16-17 season, they were the 8th seed that year. So right now, and I know a lot of people don't like when you say this, like, if the playoffs ended today, well, Nashville would play the Winnipeg Jets, and Winnipeg is just, they're a team that's, I mean, they are solid, but they've looked inconsistent. They could easily win a series against them, I think. I think they're getting hot at the right time. Saros has really been solid in net, and at 42-1, I think it's a steal.
Well,
so I took it today. So
if you think 42-1's a steal, I'm showing you 60-1.
Oh, gee, well, here in Flowride, I don't have access to all your fancy books and stuff.
Major hit to DeSantis's governing abilities. Now, I mean, he's done some great things for sure, but like giving Hard Rock a monopoly on sports betting, I think is just major oversight on his part. I don't understand that line of thinking. But I mean, I'm super libertarian. I've always said that. Like, I think sports betting should be legal in every state. Everyone should have access to everything. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate that you don't get a better number. I mean, 42-1 based on what you said sounds great.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
61.
61. I really love it. I really love it.
Because you were telling me before we started recording that you got him at 42-1. I was like, oh, let me find the best number. And of course, BetMGM doesn't have a number yet. I don't know why. But then I went on FanDuel, and I was like 60-1 when you said 42-1 was great. I was like, I bet this right away. So I bet $100 to make 6,000. So let's go, baby.
All right. Yeah. And hey, they won tonight. They just won again tonight. Nice. Who did I just say? I said the Yossi and Forsberg line. Yossi 2 goals, Forsberg a goal and assist. I mean, nice. This team is really good. I think, and they might just be getting hot at the right time. So I 60-1. I can't believe that's, and right now they're I like the Maple. Well, they're in different conferences. Well, I have them both there, Slew. So
okay.
No, I like the Maple Leafs too. But I mean, ideally, I wonder if there's a bet. It's like, will a Canadian team win the Stanley Cup this year? It's been a long time. We were talking about this recently. Mm-hmm. Not since the Canadians of the early '90s. Have they as a Canadian team won it, but there's a lot of Canadian teams in it that could take it this year, and Toronto is one of them too. I like them too. I think now they're 15-1, but the value is definitely there at 6. It's there at 42-1, and it's there at 60-1 here with Nashville the way they've been playing. So Saros has been solid. I mean, 4-1 tonight. He's been a brick wall in there. So yeah, that's my hockey future, and then I do have an NBA future for you as well.
Before we get to that, what did you get Toronto at?
I got them at 14-1 before,
14-1,
so
okay.
It's like it's a little bit better.
Yeah, it's like 15-1 right now. Okay. So yeah, you also like Toronto, but yeah, a 60-1 value, it just seems great.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the NBA. You like something here? It has to do with an Eastern Conference winner. So what is it?
Oh, geez. Now, I know this is a homer call, maybe, because for those of you who don't know, I'm a lifelong Orlando Magic fan, and I'm looking at a bigger number now than I even got. I got it at 80-1. 80-1, 90-1? Are you kidding me? They're the 5 seed right now. Look at the red. They do have a little they have a tough span of like 4 or 5 games coming up here, but the Magic don't have that hard of a schedule the rest of the way. Like and they play the Bucks twice. I think that they could potentially move up even to the 4 or the 3 seed, but 80 or 90-1, and they're the 5 seed right now. I think they're going to stay in the top 6. So I think it's unlikely that they fall into the play-in playoff games or whatever the honk they call them. But this team is really good. I'm telling you what. And again, I'm biased sort of because I'm a lifelong Magic fan, but this team is really good. And I'll tell you what, if they keep this core together, I think they're going to find themselves in the finals in the next few years. So will they do it this year? Okay, probably not. But with that said, keep in mind, they beat Boston. They beat Milwaukee. They beat Cleveland. Now, can they beat them in a 7-game series? I mean, probably not, but anything can happen. We've seen the Bucks have injuries. We've seen these higher seeded teams have injuries before, and maybe they catch lightning in a bottle a little bit. But, I mean, this is a great hedge opportunity.
Right.
At this number. I can't believe it's. I guess people just don't realize how good they are. If you watch this team, like they're really, really good. So I can't believe. I thought it would be like 40-1, 50-1 maybe to win the East. That's outrageous. I think. What are they to win the finals? I don't know if I'd go this far, but
to win the finals, the Magic are 370-1. That's pretty wild.
I'll tell you what, I would bet them as long as they keep the core together, take them to win the finals. Over like the next couple of years when the odds are good, they're going to be good. They're going to be good. You see, like I can't think of his name now. The Nuggets coach, when they played them, he's sitting there. I mean, this is the team that just won the finals last year, and he's like, the Magic always play tough. They have a good team. Like it's never going to be easy playing. Kevin Durant is on in a press conference saying he's like, they keep that team together. Like they're going to be really, really good. Mm-hmm. And also, I saw some rumors that I've been saying this for years. They need like a Klay Thompson type. I don't know how true it is, but I saw that they're maybe pursuing Klay Thompson.
Oh wow.
That would be like a cool like veteran if they could pull it off. But I don't even know like when the trade and deadline ends and whatnot. I always forget when it is an NBA.
Yeah, that I don't know. But yeah,
that would be good for them.
Yeah, well, 370-1 is kind of nuts. Yeah, like that is a major hedging opportunity, like you said. Yeah, do they do it this year? Like probably not, but you never know. I mean, remember that one year with the Sixers is 2012. They're playing Chicago in the first round, and Derrick Rose got hurt, and the Sixers as the 8th seed beat the 1 seed, where it's like if Rose didn't get hurt, the Bulls probably would have won.
Yeah, and then that Sixers team took the Celtics to 7 games in the next round. That was
I remember watching that game at a bar, and I was so disappointed that they lost at the end. But it was a close game. They almost won, and that would have been an amazing run. So,
Iguodala was the star on the Sixers.
What'd you say?
Iguodala was the star on the Sixers. Then,
he was. So, so like I mean, Boston looks like a buzzsaw right now, but. If it's Jason Tatum like lands poorly on his foot and just twists his ankle and it's not available, like suddenly that bet's gonna look pretty good. But yeah, you can always hedge it. If Orlando, I think if they get past the first round, that's when I start hedging. Like in the second round, like if they get matched up against Boston in the second round, you could just take Boston to win the finals and have that as a hedge. I think that's. And it's pretty good, and like who knows if Orlando pulls the upset, then you're looking amazing still at this number, or the 90-1 to win the East. So, I think I might bet this like $10 to win 3,700. Like why not? Sounds like pretty good. Probably throwing $10 away, but like I said, you could hedge this pretty easily. So
yeah, I mean they're definitely going to make the playoffs unless there's something so catastrophically insane with injuries happen. Was it too? That's weird. Maybe they mean for next year. I don't know, because I swear I saw some reports that they were interested in maybe in the last couple of weeks. Maybe I was looking at the wrong date. I don't know. I mean, a body like this, you don't get the brains with it. So,
Sue says the Predators are also 61 to bet MGM. Look at all these great sports books that we have access to, Tom.
Yeah. I know. It's like, oh, what Quacky State? Let's give him the hose.
Yeah. Well, they're only 25-1 on Bet 365, which is supposed to be the best sports book, or so I'm told.
Well, let's kind of look at the standings here. So the Magic are right now, they're in the 5 seed. They're a half game from the 4 seed. The Knicks are a half game ahead of them.
Yep.
And then Cleveland is 3 games ahead of them. Geez, I'll tell you what. I mean, if they could find a way to sneak into like the 3 seed and like end up playing like the Pacers or something, I think that would be their best matchup. That's rather unlikely, but I don't know. I think they could do it too. But all these teams ahead of them, they've lost to all those teams too, but they beat them too. So it's not like they have no chance. They beat Milwaukee, I think, twice. I think they've beaten Boston twice this year too. So
I mean, they could go to 4 and Indiana could go to 5 and they'd still play them.
Right. There's like 15 games left. So the hedging, like if they played Indiana first round, I don't think I'd hedge first round. If they played the Knicks, then I probably would. But I mean, a lot can happen. Who knows what's going to happen between now and then? Could be injuries or, I mean, also like let's see. So they're 4 games behind the Bucks, and I mean the Bucks are a much better team, but they've also had their share of problems this year too. They play them twice. I mean, imagine if Orlando and then they beat the Bucks twice. That they could it's a very outside shot, but I don't think it's completely inconceivable. You know, Orlando's good. Orlando's really good. They're on the come up. Mark my words. They're on the, as long as they keep the core together. So.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Milwaukee just because they have Doc Rivers as their head coach and he just sucks. So,
you know, when he coached the Clippers, that was what a tragedy. That team was so stacked. Remember in 14-15, the year the Warriors won it the first time, and they blew Game 6 against Houston. What were they up, like 30?
Yeah,
that was embarrassing. The wheels fell off. It's like, dude, you had everyone on that team, like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, JJ Redick. Who else am I missing? It's like, how did you? You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself for not winning a title or not even getting there.
Yeah, no, he's just a really bad coach. I know from being a Philly native, like you get to the Sixers in the second round and always lose. So it's kind of it's his MO basically. Just get team to the second round and just lose. So
yeah, the only title he got was 08 with the Celtics.
Yeah, and that was this ridiculous team too.
Yeah, no, it really was. You know what I like that Celtics team, but you know what I always think is so cringy is when you know after they win the title, like the celebration after Kevin Garnett, anything is possible. Like I don't know, like it always makes me cringe. I like Kevin Garnett. It's like, I don't know why. It seems so corny. But they made it like a commercial of him, like kind of like poking fun at it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I don't know. I always thought that was kind of a corny bit. But
Slew says Canada's plus 240 to win the Stanley Cup on Caesars.
Well, I think that's not too bad there. Who wrote, was that Slew? Yeah, Slew. I don't think that's too bad because let's take a look here. Let me bring this up. Okay, so in the West, you've got Winnipeg, Vancouver, Edmonton. There's 3 teams right there from the West that are so almost half of the teams from the West are from Canada in a playoff spot. Then you've got the only team in the East is the Maple Leafs. But yeah, I mean, plus I think that's a decent and they're all good teams. Winnipeg is the 2 seed. Vancouver is the 1 seed. Edmonton with Draisaitl and McDavid, obviously. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is having a great year for them. They can just step up on deep. They've got so much offensive firepower. I mean, all those Canadian teams are good. So plus 240, I think that's pretty good. I mean, you have a 50-50 chance almost that a Canadian team's going to come out of the West. So, I mean, take that for what you will. But the fact that they're all pretty good, I like it.
We have 4 in the top, looks like 11 to win it. So you have Edmonton at 8-1. You have Toronto 15-1. You have Vancouver 15-1. You have Winnipeg 15-1. So 4 of the top 11 teams are Canadian. So I wonder what the math is for that for the plus 240. Probably it's like even or something. So yeah. I don't know if it's a great deal, but I mean it's kind of intriguing. I think.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I'd be. I mean, it could easily be. Well, not easily, but probably more likely than any other out. You know, the Maple Leafs. Obviously, I like them. They could definitely make it. If it was an all Canadian Stanley Cup, that would be hard to do. But I mean, you know, what did I say? Yeah, 3 out of the 8 teams right now are Canadian in the West, and they're all good.
Yeah.
So yeah, see how it all spills out by the end.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's that time to get to Game of Thrones.
Okay.
So you've watched as Sue says, hold on. He says Maple Leafs versus Predators Stanley Cup is 200-1 on MGM.
I'm actually kind of intrigued to take that. That wouldn't. I mean, actually, well, I'd still take it. I feel like maybe it should be a little bit better, but it could happen. It could happen. Anyhow.
Okay. All right. Let's get to Game of Thrones. So you've watched episode 4 and 5 of season 1. I'm kind of interested to hear your thoughts and everything like that. And I'm going to ask you some questions, not like a quiz or anything. I just want to get your opinion on some characters. Actually, no, there will be one quiz-like question. I just want to see if if you just
See if I'm actually watching it.
no. It's kind of like saw if like you recognize something.
Yeah.
To kind of get your opinion on that. But yeah, I do want to ask you your thoughts on some of the characters or some of the developments as well. So what are your thoughts, like because you're halfway through season 1 now, and I know that you said like it's really picking up like that, and you said it's gotten easier to watch it. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah, so it took me a while. I can actually tell what's going on after one viewing. It's starting to get juicy. I mean, I had to watch the first few episodes, as I mentioned several times, just to get used to all the characters. But yeah, so at the beginning, it's fun. So the red-haired Roz, I had a feeling she was going to come back. They talked about her in 4, and then you see her later, I think, in 5. But so the girl that was in the bath with was it the Targaryen? I always get the blonde guy talking about the dragons.
Viserys Targaryen, his brother Daenerys Targaryen.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. Who is she though? Just one of those painted whores that they mentioned?
She's a slave that they picked up. They actually bought her to. Remember, she taught she taught Daenerys how to pleasure Khal Drogo. So they bought her as a slave to train the Khaleesi to pleasure Khal Drogo, and then of course Viserys bought her, and so now he's using her for sex. So
right. So the city of Horse Lords, that's the Dothraki world.
Vias Dothrak, yeah.
Okay, Horse Lords. They're over there horsing around. You ever hear anyone say that? You don't hear anybody say that anymore. Like, hey, you kids, quit horsing around.
It's something you bring back.
Yeah, I'm on team horsing around. Yeah, or or you ever see like this like no horse play?
Right,
like in,
right.
Like in a public area.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's like what is horseplay? I can't define it, but I know it when I see it. But anyhow, okay, so I'm interested. I'll tell you what, I'm interested in Fat Sam here. Not Fat Jim Miller, but Fat Sam. but because it seems too much like he is like admittedly a coward, and he really has like no, I guess, skill. Like something's gonna happen like with him. Like he's gonna end up being like the ex machina or of some kind. I feel like. What was this? So the joust, like Mountain, like who was the other jouster? Like it was just like another, like just like a rando that took it in the jugular. And also, do you think like most jousts end like that, or do you think most of them just fall off the horse? Because I
don't think most jousts end like that, because like you saw the reaction from the people in the stands, like they were like appalled to see something like that. So it's had to be uncommon. But no, that was Sir Hugh. Who Jordan Alexander, what is this? If you want to hear
Jordan, so welcome.
If you want to hear football talk, just rewind a little bit. We had plenty of that, and also some other nonsense as well. But now we're dedicating the last half hour here to Game of Thrones. It's a rewatch here for Tom, or no, rewatch for me. Watch for first time for Tom. So yeah, that was Sir Hugh. So he was just a squire. And apparently just in the wake of Jon Arryn's death, he was given knighthood and lots of money to buy like expensive armor. So I don't know what your thoughts on him taking it to the jugular like conveniently was.
Yeah, that was I definitely wasn't expecting it, but I didn't know if that was like I don't like, even though they acted surprised, but Jordan, yeah. Oh, there's an audience there for it, Jordan. Don't you worry your sweet little head there. But thanks for tuning in.
I mean, look at it this way, Jordan. Like if we weren't talking about Game of Thrones, our football content would be over. Like we spent an hour and a half talking about football and betting futures for other sports. So like I feel like if we didn't have this, we would be off the air right now. So. I said, you just rewind and hear the football talk. So
yeah. This is just bonus material,
right.
or not bonus, depending on how you look at it. Right. But like the story that Littlefinger was telling in that joust, Mountain was the guy he was talking about that pushed his brother's head in into the diversify. Yeah, he's like that pushed his brother's head in the coals. That's who he was talking about. The jouster did that to the other guy, right?
The mountain, and the Hound of Brothers. Yes. So that was the story that Littlefinger told Sansa about like why. So if you were wondering why the Hound has like half his face burned off, that's why.
Oh, okay, I got you now. Now that's all making sense. Yeah. For those of you viewing at home, some of these things have to be explained to me as if I'm an 8-year-old. So because so Tyrion Lannister, they're blaming Stark's wife took them, captured him because he was blaming him for Bran, right?
Yeah, because she learned that was his dagger that he won in a bet from Littlefinger. Remember, in the brothel, Littlefinger told he was like, "I know where that dagger is from. That's mine." But Tyrion won that in a wager. So Catelyn, of course, sees Littlefinger at the inn, and she takes him captive. And this is the first question I wanted to ask you: is like, what do you think? Do you think this was a smart move by Catelyn to take Tyrion captive?
Well, it certainly didn't seem the way it panned out for Ned, but it didn't seem like it. But I don't know. It seems like she's like taking it easy on him at the same time, So I don't know. Like she has him captured, but I don't know. Also, what was going on with her? Who was her sister there? The kid that has that Oedipus complex or whatever.
Well, hold on. I mean, I get I want to say this. Like, how stupid can you be if you're Catelyn Stark? Like, really? Like, your husband and 2 daughters are at the capital where the queen is, and you just kidnapped the queen's brother. Like, do you have any idea what could happen to these people that you love?
Yeah.
If you kidnap the queen's brother, like obviously you're holding him hostage. I don't think they're gonna kill Ned, or like we saw the fight at the end. But like how stupid can you be to do stuff like this? I just like I remember I watched this, and I obviously this is like probably the 4th time I watched this episode. But I was like, as soon as that episode 4 ended, and she took Tyrion captive, I was like, man, what an idiot! Like I just said that out loud.
Yeah, well, it's really starting to get, especially in the next episode. Hey, you know what I thought was interesting is when the king was too fat for his armor, they kind of did like an homage to Goodfellas there when the Lannister servant guy. He's like, what? He's like, you don't think that's funny? He's like, you don't laugh at the hands joke. He's kind of like, what the fuck is so funny about me? Like,
that was a great scene.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, Mark Addy, the actor who does King Robert, he's an amazing actor. He's so good. But you were asking about that weird lady at the Erie, with the 8 or 10-year-old kid who's still breastfeeding. That is Liza Aaron. That is the wife of the late John Aaron, and she's the one. I don't know if you remember. She's the sister of Catelyn Stark. So she's she's Ned's sister-in-law. And so I don't know if you remember in episode 1, Catelyn gets a letter from Liza saying, we fled the capital, and King Robert's life is in danger from the Lannisters. She sent that letter in episode 1. And so like they're referencing they reference her early, and like now you actually see her, and her kid is a little nuts. Like he's like, I love, and he's like, I want to see the bad man fly.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that too. That was interesting. Is that Lord Stark's son that's banging Roz? Sorry, this is a PG-13. I just made it a PG-13 show. I mean,
no, They were explaining that is Theon Greyjoy. The Greyjoy. They were talking about the Greyjoy Rebellion. The Greyjoys are the people who live in the Iron Islands, which is an islands west of it's like southwest of Winterfell. They staged a rebellion where Balon Greyjoy, the head of that household, he proclaimed himself to be king, and so Robert did not take too kindly from this, and then he kind of ended that rebellion, and in turn. He had the only son remaining from Balon, who's Theon, be Ned's ward. So like they were talking. That's why like they had that conversation John says it's all uphill at this point for Theon. Yes, it is. So that's why like Theon and Roz were having that conversation when she's kind of like insinuating that he was being treated poorly, or like he's like I forget like what she said exactly, but he got pretty angry at her because she basically insinuated that, you know, he's just a ward. He's basically like a slave almost. And so, yeah, he got pretty pissed by that. So, I mean, you can see why, I guess, but yeah, they have treated him well though.
Yeah, it's really, I'll tell you what too. It was interesting when Varys, and I was thinking of what she said, how Varys and Littlefinger have the most information, I think is the way you put it. So those scenes with them were pretty interesting. So where was Arya hiding when she overheard them? She was hiding in the dragon skulls. Was she really chasing a cat, or was she like? I remember she said she was going to do that.
Well, yeah. She told her dad she was going to chase cats because that's part of her training. Which I guess they didn't really explain that in the show. They did in the book though, and like her sword fighting master told her to chase cats because it'll like help her like just be very sneaky and like, you know, be quiet and like try to like sneak up on a cat and capture it, like pretty tough. So like that's like one of the skills she's learning right now. But no, in that scene that you talked about before, where Viserys was in the bathtub with that slave girl that he bought. He told her that the dragon skulls were buried underneath the keep. So that's where Arya was. She was basically in the basement of the castle. And then she overheard those two men talking about things were going on. And that's one of the things that's like the quiz thing I was going to ask you. Did you know who those men were? Because you have seen them before.
I can't remember now. Shoot. Just tell me. I can't remember now. Well, like I know they look familiar, but I can't put my finger on who they were though.
Well, I mean, Littlefinger kind of let the cat out of the bag with one of them when he was talking to Varys. Remember they had that exchange when Varys was like, "I saw you talking to Ned Stark," and then Littlefinger's like, "I saw you with Ned Stark as well," and then like Varys kind of like brushed it off, and then Littlefinger's like, "I also saw you with a foreign dignitary," and then like you saw Varys's face drop, and so like one of the men in that crypt when Arya was down there was Varys. The other was Illyrio, who was the man. I forget the actor's name, but you were like, he looks like that actor. But no, he was the guy who it was in episode 1 when he introduced Daenerys to Khal Drogo. Remember in that city?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, those two are friends. They've been friends for a long time. And so they were basically conspiring, and they basically said that they were going to eliminate Ned Stark in some sort of fashion. So yeah, I mean, I think that you should probably listen to that conversation again, because like they reveal like a lot of stuff there, and like being Arya, she didn't really quite understand what they were saying, but it was pretty interesting.
Right. Well, I thought I got the gist of it about there's yeah. But what else is new, John? That's me. That's basically how I exist normally. No. So, but it's true. Yeah, but I mean, I got like sort of the gist of it. They're talking about like there's like, you know, something like the war is going to break out here pretty soon. Mm-hmm. So that's what. So Robert's he's going to order his people to kill Daenerys, right? So because he doesn't want the child to be born, and that's why Stark steps down. So that's. Yeah, this is really getting interesting now. So, I mean, wonder how often do you think stuff like that happened back in those days?
I'm sure there's a lot of backstabbing and stuff like that, you know, a lot of vying for power for sure.
Yeah. So,
so expand your knowledge. Tonight, learn about St. Patrick's, snakes, druids, black fly bites, the worst, crab bites, mitochondria, plagiarism, art, music, American history, hockey, and Game of Thrones. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You never know what you're gonna get.
It's true. It's so true.
I mean, we are gonna have to get into the draft eventually here soon. I don't know how much I'm gonna contribute. I mean, maybe you can spit the facts and I'll spit the jokes. or something like that. Because
John says it's not that different now. Biden's about as useful as King Joffrey. Actually, you know what? He reminds me more of King Tommen personally, because or at least the book King Tommen, because in the book King Tommen would he would just sign stuff as long as they gave him lemon cakes. Like he would not sign anything. Like he would throw a fit unless they gave him lemon cakes, and then he would sign anything. And I feel like that's like Biden. It's like dementia, like doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "Here, sir, have some ice cream." He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll sign this." Like I feel like that's where we are with it. with it.
Lemon cakes? Of all the desserts out there, why would anyone get lemon cakes? I don't know. I mean, tell me if you feel differently. Like of all the different things you could get,
dude, I love lemon cake. What are you talking about? It's so good.
Do you really?
Oh my god, yeah. They have these at Acme. They have these lemon slices of like it's just like bread with like lemon bread. I buy them all the time. They're so good.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm serious. That's serious. Yes. Ask my wife if you don't believe me. I would bring them home all the time.
lemon flavors. I don't
lemon
know.
Cake, yeah.
I mean,
it's so good.
I don't think I'd. Well, that's like, that would be like my last choice for. I'm like, maybe I'm in the minority, but you know what? I think that way about appetizers. Like out of all the appetizers that are out there. Because, okay, but this is like, I don't like this food also, but like you got your nachos, your wings, your mozzarella sticks. Out of all the things you can order at, like every bar and grill, it's all the same sort of appetizers, just different, Stuffed mushrooms, of all the appetizers you could get.
Horrible.
Why would you order stuffed freaking mushrooms? I hate mushrooms. Like if it's on like an everything pizza, I'll do it. But what are they stuffed with? And also, like, how are they stuffed? Like, I'm just imagining a like.
Yeah,
I'm like a chimney.
I don't like mushrooms at all. The best appetizers at what is it? It's Macaroni Grill. No, what is it called? It's a Macaroni Grill. Is that a real restaurant? I feel like I'm making that up.
Yeah.
Macaroni Grill.
You have crayons and you can draw on the.
Yeah, no. They have fried macaroni cheese balls.
I've had those. Yeah,
they're so good. I love them so much.
Yeah,
that's the best appetizer.
Yeah. So you wouldn't order stuffed mushrooms?
No way. The mushrooms are way down. Like stuff like I won't eat, like with Brussels sprouts and onion. I hate onions too.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can't eat that stuff. So yeah, it's horrible.
Onions. I mean, I don't like them as much. It can't be too onion heavy, but I like them in the, like I like them in the sandwich or like in everything pizza. Well, they want sauce on them. Yeah, exactly.
That is testing my limit of A1 sauce. I'll put A1 sauce on anything, but lemon cakes. Actually, I may like who knows? Like you never know. It might be good. John says you probably like the yellow star. Yeah, I love all Starbursts. Like I think the best thing to do is like this is a mistake people make. Like they're like, oh, I just had a yellow Starburst. Like why did you only have one? Like you like the best thing for Starburst is like put multiple in your mouth to have a combination and like have like mix yellow and orange together and then like mix yellow and pink together and then mix pink and red together. And it's like that's the best way to do it.
The problem with Starburst, like it's a matter of great concern.
and now you see why I have so many cavities.
But now you can get like the all pink or all like that's what everyone. I mean, I guess it's just kind of like I guess yellow is the only one. What do you have? You've got pink, red, yellow. Wait, what are the other? Orange
and red. Yeah, pink, yellow,
are
orange,
there
red.
4 colors? Wait, is there a green one?
No, it's only 4.
It's only 4.
Yeah, I mean they're like the tropical flavors, like and they have different ones there.
Right.
But they're only the core 4 is yellow, pink, orange, and red, which is kind of weird. Because like Skittles is 5.
Oh, Skittles, yeah.
Skittles is 5. Great. Like Jolly Ranchers is 5. But yeah, Starburst only is 4, which is kind of weird. Slew says my friend ordered a burger with no onions and then asked for onion rings instead of fries.
I used to be that way. When I was a kid, I liked onion rings, but not onions. And
And Walter football diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't take our sweets. We caution you. Eat sweets in moderation. Yeah, I don't really eat them. Like, I don't eat sweets that much, but when I do, it's rare. But like, I'll eat a lot of them in like one sitting.
Yeah.
One time I went. You know what I can't stand? I can't stand when people are like at the checkout and the cashier like has to make comments about what you're getting. Okay. One time I bought like some. I was gonna smoke and eat candy and sit around all freaking day. I'll just be honest. So like I got like gummy worms. Like some sour gummy worms and like some Sour Patch Kids at Wawa.
Nice.
So the girl rings me up, and what do you think she says to me afterwards? She goes, "Feeling some sour candy, huh?" It's like, shut up. No, I can't stand. It's like just keep it to a minimum. Why you gotta look? I know what I'm about to do. I'm about to eat all of these in like 20 minutes. You don't have to rub it into me. One time, I think it's weird when cashiers do say things like, let me tell you, this is a 100% true story. I thought this was really strange. I went into this is like 2019. And I was dating this girl at the time, and she was going to come over that night. So I stopped at Walgreens on my way home from work to buy condoms. So I go in and pay for the condom, and the guy working there, he scans them, and he goes, "Are these any good?" It's like, what? Dude, like, what? What the hell? So why would you ask me that?
Well, it's a weird question because, like, where you be like, no, I'm just buying them. Like,
yeah, it's like, dude, like, I mean, I guess I wouldn't have cared that much, but it's like, look, dude, like, we all know why I'm getting them. Like, why are you gonna ask me questions about that, like, out loud? But I don't know. Maybe he has trouble. Yeah, don't put the word out. Cashiers, don't mention anything about what I'm buying. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, and like it's so obvious. Yeah, just so obvious. Like, oh, I'm getting the worst kind. Like it's either they're good or you just don't know and you just got random ones. So
yeah, if you came through my line, I'd make a comment about your lemon cake. So
it's true. Are these lemon cakes any good?
Yeah. You gonna put the A1 on them?
Right. Slew says, years ago, I bought a 6-pack of Dixie Light, and the cashier tried to talk me out of it. Did she have success?
Dixie Light, is that beer?
I never heard of Dixie Light, to be honest with you. I assume it's beer, 6-pack and
6-pack,
light, yeah. I assume it is. I've never heard of it though. Yeah.
Dixie Light, huh? Maybe that's in the old South or something.
Yeah, probably.
Whistling Dixie.
That's probably right. Yeah. All right. So anything else? Beer from New Orleans. Okay, makes sense. I was in New Orleans once. My girlfriend used to go to Tulane, so I was in New Orleans, and it was a cool place. It's a cool place, but like they didn't have any street signs. I swear, like they had no street signs, and like I got lost, and like this is before Google Maps, I guess, sort of. Mm-hmm. And like I was driving around, and like. Dude, I got lost so many times because they had no street signs for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe the hurricane blew them all away or something. But
long have I been acquainted with that city as well. I used to do some work there at the convention center, and I'll tell you what, it's a different speed down there. It's an interesting place. I look back on it fondly, but I also have I used to work this job. It was like convention security, like that's what we like people are like checking badges at the door of like a convention. So the difficult part about like this sort of work is like the conventions, it's like temporary work. Like we have some regulars, like retired folks and stuff but like you have to be like, are you willing to work for like 3 or 4 days, like randomly? Not a lot of people are in that situation, that they can do that. So like I remember we would need like 30 people to work. We would like hire and schedule 60 people for 30 positions. Wow. And still be short.
That's crazy.
It was one of the hardest things. And I have like a lot of like fondness for the city. I had like, it was definitely like a very character building experience, the work that I did there and for that company in general. But it's like that. I'm convinced like if I had the training, I'm capable of doing anything after scheduling for a New Orleans convention. That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Just like not knowing like who's going to show up and like having to adjust like on the fly. It was a tough place, but I really enjoyed it too. I had some good times down there.
Wow. Yeah, I almost moved down there. So yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
I remember I watched. I was down there when the Packers beat the Cowboys in the 2016 season.
Mhm.
Remember that when that was Dak and Zeke's rookie year? They're the 1 seed.
Yeah.
That Jared Cook and I remember my coworker. He was like a lifelong Cowboys fan. So like we watched that game together down in New Orleans. I remember how excited I was. I was just trying to. That's good, Mike.
The cashier tried to charge Quacky tax on the condoms. Quacky said, "No tax. I'll tie them on."
Yeah. Oh my, that was good, Mike. That's good. Yeah, I'm tax exempt here for for those sorts of items. They know me. They know me down here because I answered their questions. I answered their surveys from me. So anyhow, no, but I'm really, I'm really looking forward to watching some more episodes here because it's definitely taking off. And now I have an idea of what the honk is happening.
So I mean, yeah. Any other thoughts on this? I wanted to ask your opinion on some characters.
Oh yeah, go, fire away.
I was gonna ask you, your level of trust with the members of the High Council. So you have Littlefinger, you have Varys, you have Maester Pycelle, and you have Renly Baratheon. It's the brother of King Robert Baratheon. So
I don't know. I feel like Varys and Littlefinger, like they can be trusted to an extent, but like I don't know how much.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're valuable to have around, maybe, but you have to pick and choose what you're gonna, or you're gonna have to be careful about how much stock you put into everything they say. I guess. I know that's kind of big, but I don't know. The only person I really trust right now is Ned Stark. I mean, I don't know. I feel like something bad has already happened to him. He got freaking impaled in the leg.
Yeah.
But and I thought he was gonna, as I told you in the green room, that I thought that might be the end. Like he might die from his injuries.
Is that why you started watching episode 6 to see what happened?
Oh yeah, well, a little bit. John, do I like the show or is it too confusing? No, I do like it. It was confusing at first for me, because I'm not. Admittedly, let me tell you something. You may already realize this. I would say like I'm a very thorough learner. Like I would not say I'm a fast learner. It takes me some time. I would say I'm an outlier on the lower percentile of that end. But now that I know what's going on, like I'm getting more excited about it. So that's what I have to have. That's my answer there, John.
Well, the fireworks are coming soon. If I were to take a guess on like the first character to die, who do you think it would be?
Oh man, that's tough to say. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Jaime Lannister, maybe Jacob Lannister.
Jacob Lannister.
No, I'm just kidding. Jaime Lannister. I don't know. I don't know. I feel because I've known that there are surprised or like a lot of main characters die. I've heard that before I ever watched it. So and I don't know, just because I feel like he's a key player, so maybe that's like make the twist even bigger. If he's the first to go, but we'll see. Especially after that, like I don't know, like I feel like Ned Stark, his character is like pretty to me is like pretty honorable. Like, well, I guess that would be a surprise too if he was the first one to go. But I feel like there's going to be like retaliation or revenge of some sort on Jaime Lannister for that from somebody. So we shall see, I guess.
No. All right. Well, there you go. Jaime Lannister, first character to die. We'll see what happens.
We need to get I guess we can't do it since I could just easily look it up. But I mean, I'm not.
Right.
I was gonna say we could put odds on it, but I would have to be on the honor system.
Yeah. Well, obviously we couldn't bet real money on it, but it'd be interesting to see the odds of each
we
character
could bet Quacky coins on it. That's my NFT. Quack coin. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone? For those of you who have never seen, it's the greatest movie ever made. It's where he's an arm wrestler.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I've never seen it though.
Oh, it's you have to watch. I mean, especially if you like dumb cinema. It's so bad, but there's so many great. My cousin and I, it's like our favorite movie. But in the movie, he's in an arm wrestling tournament in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's like an underdog. It's just like the old like kind of David versus Goliath sort of story, and they try to shoehorn in some like emotional like character development, and it misses so hard, but it's so corny. Like that's what makes it great. But in the movie, he bets on himself to win the arm wrestling tournament at like 25-1. I think he puts like 10 grand on it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that they would let that happen.
I know.
Like they'd be like, hang on, you can't bet on yourself. But I mean, I don't know, maybe an arm wrestling tournament. It's just so funny how they glorify the arm wrestling, like as if it's like so.
Yeah,
like
that's what they did in like Karate Kid. Like they everything was karate for some reason. Like this huge tournament, the karate tournament. I'm sure there are karate tournaments, but like it's like the biggest thing. It's the biggest thing in high school. It's like
yeah. Like they make it like in the arm wrestling tournament. Like there's like the crowd's going crazy. It's like there's no way it draws this big of a crowd, and there's no way the grand prize is like a big rig truck and $250,000 for arm wrestling. Right. Like no way. I just don't think there's that much of a market for it. But like they do like introductions, and they're like, first the referees, and the referees come out and, like, and people are like, yeah. It's like, dude, who would cheer for the refs like that? Like crowd was losing their minds. Anyhow.
Yeah, was he played by Calvin Ridley? Yeah, they should do a Calvin Ridley movie.
Yeah, exactly. No, Pete Rose. Yeah.
Yep. John saying, wait until you meet the Lannister siblings' father. Awesome actor. Yeah, Charles Dance. The father of Jaime, Cersei, and Tyrion. He's a great character. Tywin Lannister. He's so awesome. They've mentioned him already a few times. What King Robert said, it would be great to have Tywin Lannister's backing. Like this guy commands a ton of respect, and you could see it in the actor. They're going to first introduce him in episode 7. In fact, I think it's the first scene, or maybe the first scene after the intro. He's so good. You're going to like him a lot.
Okay, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Hey, you know what? I was like, I randomly thought of this sort of. Have you ever been to Hershey Park?
I've driven by it. I've never been inside though.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Hershey like twice in my life. Like,
I grew up like 45 minutes from there. I'm surprised. I would put that theme park up against any like the rides are really good. It's a really good theme park for Hershey Park. For those of you, if you've never been, it's. Like I would put it up against like Universal from like from a rides perspective. So anyhow, I guess I thought of this because we were talking like casino, like so like the ring toss game, like at a park.
Yeah.
Like you get like a bucket of rings for $5, and like you're never gonna make it. It's
already.
And when someone in the park wins one because they have like those giant bears. It's like it's like a medal of honor that you wear. Like when you see a Cedar, I've never been to Cedar Point, John, but I know of its prowess. But like it's this giant like person-sized bear. So like when you see someone carrying that around the park, you're like, oh damn, like you must have won the ring toss because it's so impossible.
Right.
So anyhow, I was down there. This was 2008, and I was there with my girlfriend at the time. And I just got a bucket of rings. Like I didn't even care. Like I just threw $5 away. I was just goofing around, and I'm like flinging like multiple rings at a time. And the guy working the game isn't even paying attention because he's like, no one wins this.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like this 12-year-old kid on the other side to my left who's throwing rings too. And all of a sudden, the kid's like, "Hey, there's a ring on a bottle." And it was like pretty. It was much closer to me. It was like to my right, and he was to my left.
Right.
I wasn't paying attention either. So the guy in the game, like working the game, he wasn't paying attention either. So he was like, I'm about to tell you, I can't believe it happened. This was so funny to me. So like out walks like this kid, like he's like, I don't know, like 19-year-old manager of the ring toss game. And he's like, he goes, well, we're going to have to check the camera footage to see. Like, is this happening right now? What are you, like the pit boss? You're going to have to check the film? To see if so he's gone for like 10 minutes and he comes back and he's like, oh well, we weren't able, I don't even think there were cameras. He's like, we weren't able to determine. And he's like, I don't know if one of you wants to be nice and just give the other person. He's trying to imply that I should just give it to the 12-year-old kid. And I was about to do it. Because I was like, I can't believe I'm still standing here like for 15 minutes trying to determine if I win this giant freaking bear or not. So I was literally about to be like, all right, fine, just give it to the kid. When my girlfriend, who was standing behind me, I didn't even know she was there. She's like, shouldn't Hershey Park give both of us a bear? And the guy's like, well, I guess. So I said, give me the bear. So I got one of those giant bears, and I went over to the kid, and I was like, hey, man, we walked away from the game. I was like, was that you? Like, were you, like, do you know for sure if it was you or not that made it? And like, if I was a 12-year-old kid, I'd be like, hell yeah, like that was me. Like I bragged all my friends, but he goes, you know what? I really don't know. Honest little guy there. He's probably like 30 now.
Right.
No, he's probably, I don't know. He's probably like 27 now, but yeah, so I won the ring toss. I just thought that was so funny. Like they're gonna go check the cameras. What is this, the freaking Bellagio here or something? Just give me the freaking bear, dude. What is
this kid's now in like therapy, and he's like, I can't believe it. This guy took the bear away from me. I really think I won that ring toss so long ago.
Some selfish prick that's on this. Well, we both got a bear, so it was all good.
Oh, you got one too? Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah. He gave him, because my girlfriend said, shouldn't we? Shouldn't we both get a bear? He gave us both a bear. Sorry, okay. I probably wasn't clear.
No. I just the way you said it, because like when you walked up to him afterward, I thought that.
Yeah. That's why I was give me the bear. Yeah, exactly. Come on, man. It's like, how much do those? Well, I have heard that those carnival games and stuff, like they do have a strict policy. I mean, I guess like the overhead is pretty high. I mean, on those things. Well, maybe not. I mean, how much does it cost to play like one of those games nowadays? Like $5, you get like, I don't know, 20 rings for $1, or not counting for inflation nowadays. Yeah,
it's like $50 now.
I knew a guy once that said he worked like a carnival. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they were like really strict about like his prize was like the Coca-Cola polar bears. Mm-hmm. And it's like, they kept like strict inventory. It's not like, give one to your kid there, like it's, they run a tight ship there. But really, those even as large as they were, they probably cost like 9.5 cents to make.
I know.
And this guy comes out here, hemming and hawing, like his mama can make a burger better than McDonald's, acting like he's all, some authority figure back there. He's going to consult the tape. You got to be freaking kidding me. You got a security camera tape on the ring toss game. Our valuable inventory with these giant. No one wins it anyway.
I know.
I digress. Good God, I can't. I'm glad y'all enjoy the show, because sometimes it's like I don't know how y'all put up with me, but I'm sure glad you do.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun all the time. So, we are way past the 2-hour mark somehow. So, yeah, maybe it's like 1:36 a.m. here, so maybe we should wrap it up. But thanks so much, Kevin, for the $20 super chat.
Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it, man.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate everyone for commenting, watching. We'll be back on Tuesday with Jacob. I guess we'll be talking more free agency stuff. I'm sure stuff will happen on Sunday and Monday. And then Kenny on Wednesday, and then Tom on Thursday, unless we reschedule to Saturday, but we'll see. And then hopefully you watch some more Game of Thrones, and we'll have more of an idea what's going on. So
more banter.
Yeah,
just keep on out here playing the hits and slinging the jokes. So we're having a good.
Here's the real question that I should have asked as a journalist.
No, we broke up like a month later, so it wasn't even. Yeah, it wasn't that sort of scenario. I don't have the bear. That was 2008. Oh my God, that's 16, coming up on 16 years ago. That bear is long gone.
so she's the one who really got the bear, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. She kept it in her room. I remember.
Okay. Well, maybe she's the one in therapy.
I don't know, man. It was good stuff. Yeah, that bear's long gone. I can't believe 16 years ago. Time goes too fast, but
yeah.
I'll prevail again in ring toss, and I'll be sure to let y'all know about it. So I never got the bear, man.
You should have asked for it back. That should be in your condition.
Yeah, that'd be the last thing I said. Give me back my freaking bear. No.
You should show up to our house now. I'll be like, wait, I want that bear back.
Yeah. No, I'd sooner I would just keep buying buckets of rings until I got it again. Eventually, I got to hit it. I mean, even if I spent, I wonder how many people spend like $100 trying
my
to get
God.
that stupid
And it's all rigged
anyway.
too. I remember being at a Great Adventure. It was like National Cut Day or something. We went to Great Adventure in my senior year of high school, and I was with my friends there, and like there were two girls. Like we started talking to them, and like I was the best shooter of for basketball out of everyone that we're friends with. Like I couldn't do anything. Well, I could play good defense. I could shoot well. I couldn't do anything else. I couldn't dribble at all. But like I could shoot. And so we were standing next to like the basketball game, and everyone was like, "Whoa, shoot for these girls, shoot for these girls. You impress them." I'm like, dude, this is all a downside. I'm not gonna make anything. I'm not gonna make it because it's all rigged. Like the rims are smaller than they are in real life. Like it's like super impossible to make a bucket. So I was like, no, screw this. I'm gonna look bad because like I'm gonna miss, like, because that's what everyone does. So so I really don't like those games. I try not to spend money on them.
Yeah, they're really tough. I have won the basketball game a few times too, because I can't remember if I said this on the show. 2 years at my high school. Remember the day you had a DARE program at your school?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like for 2 years when I was in middle school, they had a DARE foul shot competition, and guess who won it both years?
Oh wow.
This guy. I could shoot some free throws. I could shoot a three too, but I was like I only played basketball in 9th grade. I was like a role player off the bench, but I had a couple moments, But I'll never forget when I played basketball in 9th grade. I love my coach, and he's actually since passed away. So rest in the late great Coach Rohr. But we were playing our rival, like the neighbor, and he couldn't stand him. He hated this team. So I remember we won 48-44, and I had 2 points in the game. It was 2 free throws, and he was screaming on the sideline the entire he did not want to lose this game. He hated them. And like I haven't shot the free throws yet, and like the ref like throws me the ball, and he's screaming. My coach is screaming at me, "Prove your manhood! Prove your manhood!" And guess who? Oh, count them both. I hit them both. I couldn't believe it. I was nervous. I mean, I couldn't shoot free throws, but I was nervous after he yelled. And I mean, look at me now. It's I don't have anything left to prove. So.
Congrats on rising up to the challenge of that, because like I feel like a lot of people would have choked under those circumstances. Like I have a friend who he used to play in the in the over 18 basketball league with me. Like this is a long time ago. It's like 20 years ago, but he was a terrific shooter. And like you can like if we were just playing pickup and he's shooting free throws, like if he shot 20 free throws, he'd make 17 or 18 of them. But like in a game, I swear his free throw percentage was like 10%. Like he even airballed the shot. Like he would just choke on the pressure. I don't know why. It was like crazy because like he couldn't do everything else. But like he just like he got to the free throw line, like he looked terrified. Just couldn't do it. It was amazing. Yeah.
You think he had the yips?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You're saying like he was airballing it and stuff.
Yeah, he airballed once. So yeah, like this guy, like if we're just playing pickup, he hit everything. Yeah.
That almost sounds like a case of the yips, but I feel like the yips is more like permanent. Like remember, I mean, I guess you see it. I feel like more in baseball.
Yeah.
Like remember Chuck Knobloch on the Twins and the Yankees? He played second base. He could not make that throw over to first,
right.
Which is the shortest distance. He could not do it. And then for anyone who remembers Chuck. Yeah, there you go, John. Yeah, Chuck. And then Mackie Sasser, the old Mets catcher. If y'all back, I think it was back in the 80s. He got plowed over at the plate, and then every time he caught a pitch, you'd have to be like before he threw it back to the pitcher. But like. And then it would be like a rainbow, like he couldn't like, or like a short hop back to the pitcher. But like a guy was stealing second, no problem. He could gun him out. Like he could make a good throw. But just like the easy part of it, and he would have to tap his glove before he could. It was really bad, and he just had the yips. Like he couldn't throw the ball back to the pitcher. Mm-hmm. And they did like this whole. There's a 30 for 30 short. It's called Field of Nightmares. It's like 15 minutes long, and they had to do like this. Like a psychologist, like he held a baseball and he would like bring it closer to his face, like when you start feeling anxious, and I think he kind of got over it eventually, but it definitely, I mean, pretty much ruined his career. it's so like he had to keep tapping the glove. He was so nervous about doing it. So maybe that's really interesting. Yeah, you're saying like 18 or 9, like 17, 18 out of 20, and then couldn't make it in the game.
Yeah. Yeah, he couldn't. You see that with field goal kickers too, as John's pointing out here. Remember Brett Maher, who couldn't like hit an extra point in that Tampa game?
Yeah,
same
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's once you get in your head like that. They say like in the NHL, like they have goalie coaches. They say that the goalie coaches not only are maybe for technique. I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but also psychological coaches. Because it's like if you start out like if you let one in as a goalie, let one in quick, and then like maybe they get another quick one, and it's like now you're in your head, like you're already down like 2-0 the game just freaking started. It's like, and like that's part of like, I mean, I guess that's true with any coach to a certain extent, but like the goalie coaches, they say, is like far more like psychological, maybe even more than like technical. So
yeah,
but yeah, same thing. But
all right, yeah, I said that's about it, and like 15 minutes later, we got talking.
That tends to happen with us, but it's all good.
I know. Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. Once again, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Like I said, back on Tuesday. Tom, do you want anything to plug?
Yeah, just follow me on Twitter or Twitch at QuackyT. Yeah, I haven't been streaming for a little bit. I'm just trying to take a break as I'm trying to pivot into making some videos. I think I'm gonna make some movie commentary videos here pretty soon.
Okay.
So we'll see, and then of course I'll be here on the Walter Show once a week. Sorry, it hasn't been consistent. Just work has been getting in the way. But yeah, follow me on Twitter and Twitch. Feel free to drop me a line, say hello. Love interacting with y'all. So, and love being on here as always, Walt. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, love having you on. Thanks for coming on again. Let's go Predators. Let's go Magic. Let's get one of these. That'd be awesome. So yeah, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. And yeah, that is it. Thanks so much, guys. And yeah, have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk on Tuesday.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye bye.